Hello, hello, beautiful people. So, what time is it? Urban legend times. Let me tell you, I am obsessed with urban legends, and I may not be, the most, eloquent with, giving lectures, but I will give my best, anytime I give a lecture, unless it's skincare, the way I do it, I'm like, hey, I just talk and I ramble and I say stuff that I know, and then yeah, I hope that you process it in your brains. And honestly, with the videos I've been doing and with analysis, I gotta improve that skill. Low-key, a part of me like wanted to be like a teacher. Like that would have been like my second career path. Like just debating, but like the more I thought about it, the more I'm like, But do I have that willpower? Teachers are so strong. Teachers are so strong because like the way they got to give lectures to like some immature kids that probably don't even want to listen. Like, sheesh, I don't know if I could handle that. Anyways. So, urban legends, some of my favorites. I'm not gonna go into like full depth, but still enough where you get like the gist of each story that I'm saying, while also giving like the sprinkle of fun facts, things that I've noticed or stories that I've heard, just so we can all get like a feel for the legends. And I also have like additional notes off to the side, so if something like slips my mind, I have something to reference. I put a lot of the stuff in the slide, so I don't have to look off to the side too much. But I also, I don't want to get any information wrong, and if I do get some piece of text incorrectly, feel free to correct me, people. This is just a space between us and like just to have funsies. Okay, so what's gonna be the first urban legend we're gonna talk about? Fun fact: it's actually the first urban legend I've ever was told growing up. So first, what we're going to be talking about is spooky women, and the first spooky women is going to be bum ba da bum, La Llorona. Spooky, scary, sad, tragic lady. So, wait, I just realized something. Why is this so huge? There we go, fixed it. How did I fail to notice that? Cause life. So, La Llorona, also known as the Weeping Woman, is a Mexican folklore. Maria is known to probably be her real name, but in many stories that I've heard personally, she was never really given a name. It was just like sad woman, tragic wife, blah blah blah. Like it's just like descriptors like that. But with this specific urban legend, she's always described. But so it really depends. Later I'll get into like the different variations of the stories, but usually she's described to be a woman who wanders near bodies of water. She's slender, sometimes dripping wet, and she either has her face covered by her hair or a veil. Sometimes she can be described wearing like wedding attire, but usually I think at least from the stories that I were told, it just makes sense that she's just like wearing a normal like nightgown or just like a dress that is just chilling. So, but yeah, like that's usually how she's described. She's the Weeping Woman. La Llorona means basically it kind of like means like the crier, but because it's like the feminine version, it's La Llorona, the Weeping Woman. So yeah, also like the crying woman. Ooh, this is just a crier, But yeah, this is going to be the first one, and as I mentioned earlier, it was the first ever urban legend that I was told when I was like a kid. And I also I'm gonna like jump around from side to side because that's how life works. So, in many stories, at least the ones that I've primarily heard, she's known to have 2 children. There's some stories where she does have 3 children, but primarily the more common trait with La Llorona is that she has like 2 children, sometimes sometimes 2 boys, sometimes 2 girls. Commonly, I would say it's a boy and a girl. And in the thing that always happens from each story to story, inevitably, the kids have to drown and she has to die at the end of those stories. Those will never change from telling to telling. And in the afterlife, now that she's like a dead ghost, the thing that she's commonly known to say is, "Oy, ay, mis hijos." Oi, I, whatever. It's mostly mis hijos, which means my children. That's what she's always crying out. And sometimes people like treat like if you ever are out in the street walking and you hear that, they treat that as like a bad omen, where you're like, yeah, get the frick out of there. You're not safe. Leave immediately. So if you hear like a woman crying and you're like near a body of water, just dip. And if you're a child, and also like the reason why she's like a ghost is because of her strong emotions from telling to telling. The thing that sparked her to come back as a ghost differs depending on which one it is, but in each story she's always crying for her children, so it always involves her children. And in Death, she's known to kidnap kids. What she does with them, while growing up, I was under the impression that she either like drown the kids so they can also go into the afterlife with her and join her, or she just takes them to like a very suspicious, like unknown location just to have her kids there, and then once they grow too old, that's when she kills them. Those were the two variations that I know. And then if she encounters an adult, primarily men, she just like immediately like offs them. She's like, yeah, killing. And it will make sense in one of the versions of the story why she does this. And the reason why this story was told is to keep people away from bodies of water, or like primarily at nighttime, and to keep children from misbehaving. And the reason why is because back in the day, a lot of people were reckless whenever they go swimming. They never realize how bad it is to swim, especially if you're alone in the dark, because then if you start drowning, it's hard for people to see you, and like sometimes maybe even hearing you, because if your head's underwater. Maybe some people can hear the splashing, but some would also just treat that as maybe just fish in the river just like flapping around. So this story was told to make sure that people don't, risk their own lives just because they want to go swimming at night. So go swimming in the daytime, people. Be responsible. But commonly, primarily, at least in my family, but I know many families, it's told to keep children from misbehaving, because basically the way my parents specifically tell the story is like, hey, si tú no portas bien, la llorona te va a get out of the words, I can't say it right now. Be like the weeping woman, she will get you, she will kidnap you. What's kidnap in Spanish? I can't remember at the moment. But it'd be like, she'll get you, so you better not misbehave. Like my parents, they always just like that in the freaking like boogeyman. My parents were like, yep, if you're not careful, she will get you. And I'm like, Mom, please, I don't want a new mom. I love you, Mama. So that's La Llorona. And so the versions of the stories, there's three primary ones that at least I were told. The first one is that she has a loving family, a hardworking husband, and two very energetic children, which, as I mentioned before, is usually two children, a son and a daughter. And one day, while the father was out, doing some work, and the mother was doing chores, either like some laundry or cooking, things like that, the two children go out to play. And they lived near a river, so the children commonly play there. But at some point, the children got into an accident. Maybe the tides were a little too aggressive, and it took one of the kids to started drowning them and started taking them down the river, to which the other child, wanting to save their sibling, jumps in after them, and that caused the two to die and drown. Tragic, I know. And then later on, when the mother goes to get her children to return back home, she discovers that they weren't in the place that they are commonly at. And then after an investigation by the police, or just by a search team of caring individuals and neighbors, they discover the fact that the children have passed away. And then this led to a rift in the relationship between the husband and wife, because the husband's like, why didn't you look after the kids? I'm gonna leave you now. And the wife, the mother's obviously, sad for everything going downhill, so she drowns herself in the river in hopes to reunite with her kids. But she just comes back as a vengeful spirit, constantly trying to search for the spirits of her children, but failing to do so, because the children probably passed on when she cannot. So that's the tragic element there. And then the second telling of the story, there's one where it's still a couple with two kids, but they're not married, and the woman wants to get married with the man. However, the reason why the man doesn't want to marry her is because he's either married already, or B, he just found someone new, someone younger, someone that excites him more, so he abandons his family, basically. And this causes something to snap within the woman, the La Llorona, where she gets instantly filled with rage and regret. She primarily sometimes puts the blame on her children, so she drowns herself and her children, almost to spite the man, but it's not really gonna spite the man if he's like, yeah, I left you, so I don't care what you do. It's a weird, but sometimes in most of these tellings, she sometimes gets regretful towards the end, but it's too late because she ends up drowning anyways. And then she comes back, with those regrets for her actions. So she wants to find her children to atone for what she's done. She's like, I'm sorry, Timate. I'm sorry. Let me make it better. Let me find my children and make it better. But You killed your kids. And then third story, semi-similar to the second story, but small alterations. Let me move again. Whop. So, this time, now they're married again, but then the husband becomes unfaithful. So that's the difference from this story and the other story, that they were married, but then he chose to be unfaithful, and then blah, 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 abandons the kids, the woman snaps, or that. Or sometimes there's also a version where the husband, he wants to rid himself of his old family so he can start anew with the other woman. So he's the one who drowns the wife and the two kids, and that's what causes her to come back as a vengeful spirit, trying to, and why she's mad at men, and why she primarily targets men if she ever encounters men. That's like the connection there, because her husband drowned her, and because of like the rage that her husband, brought upon her, being just conflicts in their marriage, and like him just being rude to her, it caused her to be like hostile towards many men. And obviously the search is still on, where she's trying to find her kids. And then, but the story version of herself, where she's the one who drowns the kids, sometimes, she drowns the kids first, but then she feels regretful, so she jumps into the river to get them back, but the riptides are too strong, so she ends up, like, dying. Or if she was drowned simultaneously with her children by either the father's hand or herself, the riptide sometimes separates her from the children, and that's what causes her, like, hunger to find her children again, where she's like, I must find my kids. I want my kids back. So that's the story. Those are the three primary ones that I've heard. And again, as I mentioned before, it's like, this was like the first urban legend that I was ever told. And funny enough, I felt like my cousins, I know vividly, there was like one moment where we were visiting my cousins, where like I was just trying to like take a sleep in the living room because it was nighttime, and then suddenly I just hear like wailing in the background. And I'm pretty sure that was my cousins, my aunts, like pulling a prank, because I was like, I was like a sad kid. I was like, what the frick is happening to me? But yeah, and then let's see. I wanna make sure that there's any other information that I could touch upon, just to see. Also, wait, I realized that because like some storytelling say that it's like a woman where she wants to get married to the man, but the man doesn't want to marry her. The reason why some people believe that she appears in a wedding dress is maybe because she wants to drown her. Like she wears like the dress, realize that she's not, or like sometimes like maybe they were gonna get married, but the husband like abandoned her on the wedding day, so that's why she's described to wear a veil, be in a wedding thing. But sometimes I'm not really sure about like that, because like with the stories that I were told, it was just like a woman with just dripping red hair and a long dress. So that's like what I primarily know, but I'm not gonna I know that the other versions probably are accurate. So yeah, and like she's a spirit that haunts the world, and well, primarily rivers, lakes, any bodies of water. So yeah, this was like out of all of the like urban legends I was told by my family, La Llorona was always the primary one, and then the second one was Bloody Mary. I sadly didn't add that into the slides, but Bloody Mary is like one of those also like those other ghosts where like my cousins constantly tried to like pull me into like a freaking like be like, get into the bathroom, say her name 3 times, and I'm just banging on the door, be like, no, I don't want to do it, I don't want to do it. And then every time me and my like family goes like camping, where we're near like a lake, it's not a river, but it's near a lake, I'm like, my mom's like, hey, you better not leave the tent in the middle of the night, or else she'll get you. And I'm like, if she like, when I was a kid thinking she was real, I'm like, Mom, why you take us camping to near a lake if this monster could get us? And she's like, don't worry, I'll protect you, because we usually like shared a big tent anyways. So I'm like, my mom, she was trying to make me reliant on her, being like, either you get a ghost, Mom, or you stay with me. So yeah, it is a constant trauma. But yeah, that's the story of La Llorona. And again, primarily she has 2 kids. She dies, they drown, and then her husband, sometimes he could have a prominent part in the story where either he cheats on her, or he drowns her, or he just leaves her, plain and simple. So yeah, that's La Llorona. It's a very tragic story. For as horrifying as she is genuinely, like, it's just like, when you think about it, she's just like a very sad, so I don't blame her, man. I don't blame her wandering this. If I see like a sad woman just crying out for her kids, I'm not gonna be like, ugh, I'm gonna be like, oh. So yeah, that's her. Next one. I feel like I'm gonna pronounce her wrong. I'm so sorry. I have like the pronunciation right here just in case. Kuchisake Onna. It's always by the time I get this part, I fail a little bit. Kuchisake onna, kuchisaki onna. So this one, also known as the slit mouth woman, a Japanese urban legend of that is a malicious spirit or onryo, and she is described usually commonly. She has like long dark hair. She's pretty tall. She wears a face mask, and the reason why is because she's concealing the fact that she has, you know, large cuts from like the corners of her mouth reaching to like her ears. Almost sometimes it can be resembling a smile. Sometimes it can be lopsided. But whatever the cut is, it's always like there. Yeah, like I when I was younger, I was like scared of her, but then as I'm older, I'm like, yeah, I feel sad for her. But yeah, so hers, kuchisaki onna. I'm gonna say slit mouth woman because I'm just gonna end up pronouncing it wrong every single time, and I feel too bad to make people hear my constant butchering of the name. So, and then there's other stories where sometimes she's known to either wear a trench coat. That's the popular one that I've noticed. She wears a trench coat, but there's also versions where she's wearing a kimono, and often she is dressed in red and she carries a bloody pair of scissors. But sometimes some people say that she could be seen carrying like a knife, thing, like any like sharp object, but primarily it's scissors. And she's beautiful, but she's also scary due to the previously mentioned like slit mouth. And she wears like a mask, specifically like one of those like hospital surgical masks. This is the second one. This is the second spooky lady that we get told. And so common things with this specific like encounter, if you were to ever encounter this specific spirit, is that she usually approaches people that are alone, and she asks the question, am I beautiful? If you answer yes, she could either just like, I think when you answer yes, so there's versions where like it flip-flops between the yes or no answers, but if you say yes, then she leaves you alone, but then at night, that's when she targets you and like basically asks you the question again, and if she sees hesitance in you, that's when she either kills you, but if you don't have hesitance, then she carves the smile on your face, saying, hey, now we could be beautiful together. Or be like, oh, I'm envious of you being so confident in yourself, so I'm gonna give you the insecurity that I have. That's what happens if you say yes. If you say no, then she just offs you immediately. So yeah, but here's the thing that people like discovered a way to like basically swerve your way out of, you know, not getting killed, and it's by giving her like neutral responses. So saying so imagine like she approaches you, she's like, am I beautiful? You say yes the first time. She removes her mask, reveals her slit mouth, and then she says, am I still beautiful? And you go, so. She'll be like, huh? So? What does that even mean? And then you could run away. Once you see her visibly being confused, that's when you dip and you run, and you should be fine. You should be fine, though granted there is still a chance that she could probably try to stalk you again. Regardless though, it's the best option you got. Other ways that you can distract her too, according to what I've read, is that if you give her like offerings, so something like candy or money, where she'll be like stalled for like a minute, like admiring like the item that you gave her, and then you dip, and then usually she'll be like, yeah, this person's kind of chill. I guess I'll ignore them. And the reason why this story is primarily told, there's two main reasons why, at least from what I've heard. The story is usually connected, or like sometimes connected to like the fear of like strangers and talking to strangers, you know, being cautious. Oh, honestly, facts, man. Same. I could never either, man. That's every woman is beautiful in their own way, and if I have to sacrifice getting cuts in my cheek, I guess I'll take it. Kill me, lady. But yeah, sadly, like that's like the only way. Or if you don't want to say so, hey, give the candy and money. That's our alternative. That's what we'll do. Everyone's beautiful, so I'm gonna just be like, hey, here's some candy, lady. And she's like, ooh, and then I run. I dip. Exactly. Be kind, people. Be kind. Hey, well, welcome to the stream. I hope you have a good time watching me just ramble on about some of my favorite urban legends. Okay, and then the second reason why this story is told is because of like it connects back to like the whole female beauty standards and the fear of like cosmetic surgeries, where, you know, sometimes like when someone gets a cosmetic surgery, they always have to worry about like side effects, whether their face is going to accept or reject it. I've heard some things where like, you know, especially like the nose is like the hardest like thing to cosmetically change, because then it could cause like a lot of things where like the nose can like cave in on itself, or it like rots away. When I hear these stories, I'm like, dang, That's unnerving. And then sometimes people take it too far. Like, if you ever seen, like, there's like, I can't remember. It's like, there's like this one person specifically where they want to be like the human Barbie, and they straight up like took out so many of their ribs. Like, cosmetic surgery is it's kind of scary. Yeah, the spooky scaries of the real world. But yeah, these are like the two main reasons why the slit mouth woman's story is told, is either because of like the fear of cosmetic surgery and like beauty standards being like a thing that's rampant, where like it brings a lot of insecurity, or it's just like, you know, stranger danger. You know, if you're walking home from school, like many of the stories that I've seen specifically with the slit mouth woman, it's always a high school girl where she's trying to return home, but then gets either when she's going to like the train station, or if she's just like walking in the streets, she always gets encountered by the freaking this spirit. So it's like, be careful, people. But at the same, like, and I don't think you can even ignore her if she catches a glimpse of you. You're like, oh, I have to figure out a way to slip past this. Okay, but like the first version of the story, I think the one that primarily there's variations from the story. I've read like a handful, and some of them differ from telling to telling. But one that was told is that usually it's like a woman who's like beautiful, very beautiful, to the point that many people around her were envious of her looks. And sometimes the main aggressor or the main envious person was her sister. So her sister, sometimes with a group or by herself, attacks the woman, the beautiful woman, just to ruin her beauty. So the way they did that is by slashing her face to make her ugly. And then the woman then died after she experienced blood loss, or she ends her own life from the attack that happened, and then she returns as a vengeful spirit, you know, being like, hey, this was done to me in life, and I want others to suffer as I've suffered. This is one variation of the story. The second variation of the story, I think it's the more popular one, I could be wrong, is where it's like, I'm in the way again. Where it's I'm like, look at me, I'm decapitated. My feet are there, I swear. Okay, where it's a beautiful woman, still a beautiful woman, and she's the wife of a samurai, and the samurai has been like her husband has been out fighting for so long, and you know, she got so lonely to the point where she's like, you know what, I'm gonna have an affair. So she has an affair. Feet mess. I always accidentally mention feet. How you guys catch me slipping? Okay, where she look, I may like legs. You know, weirdly enough, I'm starting to. Oh, this is gonna be a weird thing to say. Weirdly enough, I catch myself like understanding why people like feet, but I only like feet in the sense if they're wearing like stockings, thigh highs, or something. Why am I exposing myself like this? I'm talking about a ghost woman who cuts people's mouths. Anyways, so. Look, hey, sometimes you can understand if people can like armpits. I personally don't, but if people like armpits, it shouldn't be weird for people to like feet. And people like hands. It's all over the place. You know, like that one game. What is Mitsio? Can't remember, but yeah, people have weird interests, man. I like legs, and I guess feet now is included. No, I'm joking. I'm half joking. Anyways, her husband is out fighting, doing his thing. She gets lonely. She has an affair. And once her husband returns and hears... I swear I'm not the freakiest. Hey, we're freaks in our own way, man. Anyways, her husband basically hears the news, is outraged. So once, you know, he hears about the infidelity and returns home, he punishes her, and he's like, with his like katana, his knife, his weapon, whatever he has on hand, he used that to cut her mouth, to teach her a lesson, being like, your beauty is no more, motherfucker. This is what you get for being unfaithful to me. And then she dies at some point, either blood loss again, or she just ends her own life. And then she returns as a vengeful spirit. This is one version of the story that I know that is primarily at least again from what I have seen, seems to be the more popular one. But because in modern day she's seen as like a trench coat, it's not. It was popular in the past, I think, but like nowadays, because she's seen in more like modern clothing. And, you know, scissors are, like scissors, they've been around for, like, a while, so you could just change how, like, the scissors, like, they could look like old-timey scissors, or they could look like more recent scissors. Usually, though, the scissors, they're, like, long. They're, like, huge. They don't even feel like scissors. They seem more like... I know there's, like, a specific type of scissors that are long. What are they called? But, yeah, like, long. So, but, like, primarily because of, like, her more modern look, this story is kind of, like... Yeah, she's modernized, basically. Like, due to, like, her more modern telling of the stories, this one, I feel like, is, like, fading... like now compared to like the other story that I told where it was just like a woman who had like an envious sister who slit her mouth. Okay, now the third story. This one I feel like is arguably the more unpopular one because I don't see too much of this one being told. But sometimes there's like a story where it's just like a woman who either goes to the dentist and then gets into a terrible accident, or a woman who wanted plastic surgery and it got botched, like very bad, obviously, as you could tell, because like her mouth is like slit. And like after the accident, she got consumed with, you know, some rage and insecurity. So she feels like, you know, she's like, if I can't be beautiful, no one can. So when she like dies and comes back, she's like, I'm gonna make sure people have a bad time. Just, I say, oh gosh, do I pronounce scissors weird? Pizza. Pizza. Fabric scissors. I think you actually might be right. Hold on, let me look. Fabric scissors. Chargers. Okay. Yes, fabric scissors. Yeah, those ones. Yeah, they're like those huge. Those ones, I feel like aren't they usually much more softer though? Gosh, if you think about like obviously they're still sharp enough to cut fabric, but I feel like not sharp enough to pierce skin. So like, oh, it's gonna be technically with the corners of your mouth, you can still give a decent cut. Man, this woman is scary. But yeah, these are like the main three stories. Either a botched surgery. She just cheated on her husband back in like the old times. It was like a very old story back, like, which is why in the second story, actually, that's where it connects to her wearing a kimono. So that's why, like, before, when she, like, in her story where she once wore kimonos, now she wears trench coats and primarily is known, you know, for red. So yeah. And I feel like maybe because of like the fact that I feel like normal scissors and then like fabric scissors, or like you're like, I wonder what made her chose those ones, because they look cool and badass. Okay, but yeah, this is the story of Kuchisaki Onna, the slit-mouthed woman. Okay, again, I'm going through the basics because I want to, because if I made the story just in the future, if I were to do like another urban legend things, I'll probably make it so I just make like a huge dedication to like just like a short amount of ones, so I can go into more depth. But because I'm going through multiple, because I want to share some of the ones that I find fascinating. Okay, next one. The next urban legends, I like to categorize them as odd encounters. And the reason why is what you'll find out very soon. So the first one. Black-eyed children. Oh, wrong one. Black-eyed... Stop me. Black-eyed children. Spooky, scary skeletons and something. Okay, there. Now, with in the majority of the tellings, they're often described as like oddly polite, like uncharacteristically polite compared to like how children normally are like. Because, you know, children, they're a little like, obviously like children, they know how to be a little bit, yeah, it does give Hero Brian, but instead of like the full out white eyes, is the black ones. But yeah, with the black-eyed children, for some reason in every story, they're always like weirdly polite, like they don't even seem like children, because like with the story specifically, so the journalist Brian Bethel like recounted a story, and then from that story it kind of it spread all over the internet, and then people started sharing their own stories, or maybe they made fictional ones. It could either be true or fiction, of encounters with this specific spirit, entity, creature. Some people believe that the black-eyed children could also possibly be aliens. When I discovered that, it made me kind of laugh. But primarily, they approach people either in their cars or at their homes, and they just knock and they're like, hey, let us in. They want to be let inside. And their ages, they're always have to be like either like young teenagers or just children. So 6 to 16. Primarily though, I would say more younger than teen, but some have been seen in the range of teens. And what they all have in common is obviously their pitch black eyes. And sometimes I say, at least from the stories that I've read, they primarily come in groups of like 2 or more, but there are cases where sometimes it's just one child, but primarily I would say it's like 2 or more children that were like, yo, I'm gonna ruin someone's day, rub my hands like a fly. Okay. So, with this, I'm in the way again, with these encounters of the black-eyed children, so again, as I mentioned earlier, they approach homes or cars, which if you're in a car and you encounter one of these children, that's unsettling, because at least with your home, you have like a little bit of safety, but then at the same time, you also have to worry about your home getting haunted, potentially. Anyways, they knock on either the window of the car or they knock on the door of your home, and upon answering, they don't force their way in. They're, again, as I mentioned, they're oddly polite for children. And I know some people could argue, well, children know how to be polite to an extent. You know, when they're talking to a stranger, they're like, hello, sir or madam. My voice is dying. Hello, sir, madam. Can I please enter your home and or car? And like the way like they ask to enter like the home or the car is like they make like the excuse being like, I need to make like a phone call to my family so they can pick me up. Or if you're in a car, they approach you and they're like, hey, can you get me a ride? So that's like the thing, basically. That's like, at least from what the stories that I've seen. Because like, again, there's so many multiple stories. So like having like one full out canon is kind of like a little hard. But like primarily they're like, they just approach you and they don't force their way from the stories that I've read. They don't force their way in. And they always approach like people that are like unsuspecting. So your cousin was also one of these? That's kind of hilarious. But right, so the reason why they take the form of children's primarily is because it's more easier for like regular people to like lower their guard, and you know, they feel more sympathy for children. So of course they want to help children, so that lets them have like the easy access into their homes, into their cars. And when they enter, it varies for what? You know what's funny? I also got jumped by kids with pool noodles. It was my cousins. We were like going at a pool, and I was just chilling. I didn't feel like jumping into the pool just yet. I just wanted to eat my food, my little snackies, and they were like, get into the pool, and I'm like, and my only sanctuary was in the water. So I had to ditch my Doritos. Kids, man, kids are scary, but these kids are scary in the sense that they're just uncanny. That's like the main thing. So anyways, if you let them in, it varies for what happens. Sometimes if they enter your house, it can cause unexpected like the lights in your house, a power outage, weird noises, weird shakes, almost like as if there's an earthquake, bad luck, and sometimes they could be an omen for death. They could cause like a lot of weird stuff if you let them in. So don't let them in. You know, be respectful, but don't let them in. If you like, if something looks uncanny, if something doesn't look human, just dip. Just for your own safety, for your own soul, it would be in your best interest. And then additional information, again, as I mentioned, they don't force their way. They're like vampires. You know how in vampire lore, specific vampire lore, where they're like, my dear, can I please enter your home? And you like look at them, look at the vampire in their face, and you're like, no. Yeets a garlic at their face. Or throws rice on the ground. Yeah. Basically, the only similarity is that they need permission to enter your home, which is why they ask in the first place. Because, like, if these ghosts could just enter your house without the need to, you know... They could just... Like, because, like, there's a reason why they're asking. They need that permission. They're not just gonna... inside. Anyways. Again, there's also, like, multiple encounters from different people, but, like, commonality, again, is that, you know, black eyes. What? The commonality from each story is that the children's black guys... that is not... See, I proofread this, but I guess I haven't proofread it enough. Hold on, give me a second. Let me fix... I think I was, like, using text-to-speech and then maybe misheard me. But yeah, black eyes. They want you to let them in. Let them in, be little weirdos. Okay, there we go. And then these children... Again, as I mentioned, like, way earlier, vampire children, as I mentioned way earlier, they're either ghosts or they're aliens. The alien theory, I'm not fully convinced because I feel like they make more sense as ghosts because of like the haunting element to it. And then the reason why the story is like very scary for many people is because of like uncanny valley, black eyes rather than normal human eyes. Also the fear of like getting intruders in your like space of safety, ghost aliens. Honestly, maybe. And then the fear of the unknown, because you're like, these children, they're like mysterious and they're weird. And it's not like a huge positive, like people don't know if like they're like spirits of like actual children that probably died because of like maybe they approached the wrong person, or they're just like demons trying to ruin someone's day. So yeah, that's what like that's what I was like on about, like where like no one's quite sure. It could either be demons or just children that had a tragic fate and they're just, you know, spiteful, which could be like that could be like the vengeful spirit of like, because like that's the reason why many ghosts like appear in the world, is because like they have like some certain grudge or some certain anger towards the world, so they want to like bring that suffering to others. And that could be why the black-eyed children are like so could be tragic or be weird. As for the whole alien, yeah, you're true. True facts, man. Aliens, FNAF reference, facts. Aliens can be ghosts, so I guess that is true. But like the alien thing, the reason why I don't buy that story in particular is because aliens in their stories they mostly abduct people, and these people who encounter black-eyed children they usually come out unscathed. Granted, maybe they experience a little bit of like maybe they get into an accident, maybe they have like a haunted house now that they have to move away from. That usually happens, but these people they commonly don't die. Some do, but not usually. And if it was like I guess with the car stories maybe there has been instances where like their car just levitates to the space to UFO. Who knows though, but this is that one. Now the next odd encounter, one that's kind of similar but not really to the black-eyed children, is vanishing hitchhikers. If you don't know this story, it's not the most popular urban legend, but I personally find it very interesting because again it's like similar to like just like the unknown, the uncanny weirdness. Unless they like jean jackets. Okay. You know what? If I know for a fact, personally, I believe aliens do exist. Because, like, if we're technically aliens if you think we're human beings. But we're aliens, too. There's, like, another planet out there where they're like, man, I wonder if there's aliens out there. They see us as aliens. So, there's definitely aliens out there. And I wonder if... I feel like similarly to, like, ghosts, where, like, they just watch us for fun. I feel like they probably are like, yo... We're just gonna watch humanity's, like, TV shows just because of how weird their plots are. There's gonna be a season 2 of The Amazing Digital Circus. I did not expect that. I thought it was over. I still have to watch the final episode. No spoilers. Okay. Anyways, the vanishing hitchhiker. I actually had an uncle who experienced this, and I was like, what? Maybe that's why this story... You're making it okay. You know what? Cool. Anyways, with the vanishing dang depression. Okay. So, I lost my train of thought. This happens way too frequently. Okay, with the vanishing hitchhiker. Maybe one day. I feel like because the Amazing Digital Circus, it is pretty popular. I feel like maybe they might consider like either like a spin-off series or like a prequel. Who knows? Anyways. So, train of thought. I have to find it. Okay, so hitchhikers. They're usually, so if you don't know what a hitchhiker is, they're people that are like traveling and they don't have a car. So sometimes they stick, as you can see in the image behind me, they stick their thumb out. So for drivers to like pick them up and to take them to their location. In modern day, please, people listen to me. Please don't do this. You know the number of times people have died because they entered a murderer's car. Do not hitchhike. Hitchhiking is dangerous. Take a bus. Do something like that. But anyways, back to the story. If you're a kind person, you're just picking up a hitchhiker. Oh wait, it's also dangerous to pick up a hitchhiker too, actually. I know you people want to be kind, but doing hitchhiking and picking up a hitchhiker, they're both dangerous because you never know what type of people you might encounter. Anyways, their appearances they look like any normal people. However, there could be hints to them either looking a little ghostly, sometimes maybe they could be on the paler side, or they could be angelic or demonic. This will make sense later. And the origins, surprisingly, was like in the 19th century, where like the urban legend sparked from horseback riding. So there's someone who's like riding a horse, they catch like a stranger, and then they offer them a seat in the back of their horse to like, take them to their location. When I learned that, I was surprised because I was so used to like the modern telling where like it's like the car rather than it being like the horses. So it's more unsettling. Imagine you're on a horse. Someone is like wrapping their arms around you to make sure that they don't like fall off or something. And then, I think usually, when it comes to hitchhiking, I want to say it's primarily more in the U.S. areas because of the fact that, cars, compared to like most other places, I feel like we use like a lot, like we have like a lot of roads, a lot of cars, and like the way just traveling here, it's hard to do it on foot, which is why the vanishing hiker tends to primarily take place here. So that's what I'm assuming. Anyways. So when it comes to these hitchhikers, they never look like bad guys. They usually look vulnerable or unsuspecting. Primarily the stories that are the more popular ones, they are like a woman in like a white dress, which I'm gonna be honest, that's like, she could be beautiful, whatever, but that sounds kind of scary to me because like, I don't know why, just like it being in the dark and then just seeing someone where they're like haunting, they look haunting but beautiful. I'm like, that's definitely a ghost. I'm not gonna trust it. But who knows? Maybe I might enter a rom-com where now like a ghost is obsessed with me. Where the ghost is like, I like you, human. I'm gonna follow you. Those stories are crazy, let me tell you. Anyways, another characteristic with these hitchhikers is that they're usually quiet. They give very short responses, and all they want is just to be taken to their location. So, next up on the list, the encounters. Let me move again. Primarily, they're alone hitchhikers, not like the image I showed in the background, but I think there are stories from time to time where sometimes it is more than just one spirit, but primarily, I mean, like, there could be two spirits, but primarily it's one spirit. And in these stories, usually it's someone driving in a secluded area, and then they find, or like horseback riding, as I mentioned earlier, and then they find an individual who wants a lift. So they, being the kind individual that they are, they let the person ride their horse or take the backseat of their car or their passenger seat, whatever thingies, and they take them to their location. And then either like midway through the drive or usually commonly towards the end of the drive, the person just, they're gone. You really, dang, man, ghosts must love you. Or maybe you're like, wait, you're like the taxi driver of ghosts. They're like, oh, we could trust this person. This person, they're legit. They know where to take us. Okay, but yeah, like the wandering spirits, you know, they're just like, yeah, take me home. I think that's what primarily the spirits are. They just give a location that's closest to their home. And then there are other versions of the story, like they're like tragic spirits that could either be like the deceased who died in the area and they just want to be like taken home, but obviously they're kind of locked in that road space, which is why they disappear at some point because they're forcefully returned to the location that they were picked up at. Oh my gosh, you were the ghost. You're the grim taxi driver, and you were the ghost that they picked up. Hilarious. I love you guys. It's so funny. Okay. And then other ones. So if it's not a ghost, sometimes it could be, this one is like the more scarier version, where sometimes it could be a demon, and if you pick them up, then they cause like horrifying and haunting experience. More on this later. And then the final version, I think there's like specifically like a Hawaiian tale where it's like a goddess where she just wants like a little bit of assistance and asks for help. And if you're kind and you help her, she rewards you and it basically gives you a blessing. That, or sometimes there's other stories where like the hitchhiker is like a guardian angel, and they basically like they basically warn you of things that could be like dangerous in the future, being like, hey, there's gonna be a rock slide in the area that you were gonna go at, but because you picked me up and I took you to a different location, that saved you. So sometimes it varies, you know. Wait, I think I know which one you're talking about. Oh my, wait, is the one with like a big hat and it makes like a boom boom noise? Hold on, wait, is it that scared the frick out of me? Hold up, let me see if it is the one that I'm thinking of. That one scared. Oh, she's beautiful too. She's scary, she's haunting, she's scary, but she's also beautiful. The way people draw her, scary. But the mommy. Hold on, what? Yeah, the 8-foot tall woman, typically referred to as Han Hachishaku. I need like a full pronounce. I need someone to leave. Where's the way to pronounce it without me saying it stupidly? Hold up. Pronunciation, please. Okay. Hachisaku sha. Words. Hachi shaku. Hachishaku sha. I'm pronouncing it terribly. This is why I need like to hear it saying beforehand. But yeah, like this, ooh, I should have added that to the list, man. How did I forget about this one? She is a beaut. She is described as an incredibly tall, pale, and slender woman, often dressed in a long white summer dress or a funeral shroud and a wide brim hat. The brim hat it's always like the top thing that's always boom boom. You are so right. Japanese Native American horror. Speaking of which, that's gonna pop up very soon. Hey, don't spoil what's gonna come up soon. I wanted to add the Slender Man too, I'm not gonna lie. But I felt like that would have been too cheesy. Yeah, I'm right. Okay, it is bull. Okay, she is infamous for an unsettling echo, low-pitched sound that she constantly repeats. That is so unsettling. And I love it anyways. This one. Oh, wait. A famous Japanese urban legend and malicious spirits known for stalking and abducting young children. Why Man, why is there so many spirits? Like that's like that. That's like their version of like La Llorona. Just man, crazy. Okay. Chilla's arts, bro. Let me tell you, those ones like the jump scares catch me all the time. There is honestly, there's so many like ghost ladies. I feel like it's so much more easier to make like a tragic story of a ghost lady because like the haunting beauty like is like the allure because like you're like they're scary but they're so beautiful, which is why Dimitrescu is like from Resident Evil is like so like beloved because like it's like similar vibe, tall lady, brim hat, scary, spooky. She's a vampire though. Is she a vampire? She's kind of a vampire, but she's also like a weird like beast. Man, why? What? Wait, what's up with like horror legends always making these like haunted spirits like freakishly tall? Now that I'm thinking about it, there's so many creatures that are like huge. Hey, ghost ladies, come my way. I'm invested. Okay. But yeah, anyways, with the hitchhiker story, I'm losing track. Oh bro, Puppet Combo, I watched so many like Corey Kenshin like gameplays of like those games. I don't know why there's like they have like a nice like those games, they all have like a nice charm, and it's just because like, I like the aesthetic that the games have. They're all beautiful. And honestly, bro, the number of times I've seen like manga or fan art of like these ghost ladies where they're like yeah, we know that they're scary, but why can't we make them like a little attractive? And I'm like, you know, it's fair point, man. Let them be beautiful. Like same with like the Slipmouth woman. She's scary, but she's also beautiful. Like, she's described as beautiful. It's just the slit mouths is what's causing her to look a little, like, scary, you know? But she's beautiful. That's what I find so interesting about these stories. She's like the haunting beauty. Okay, next up on the list. Oh, wait, no, wait. Oh, there's still more. I forgot. Okay, wait. So, Vanishing Hiker. So, wait, the thing, when it comes to... You'll still crack hay. I can't even blame you. I would also crack a gun. I'm so sorry. Anyways, with the hitchhiker, sometimes they're known to leave objects behind, and those objects could be like clues to their identity when they were alive, if they are like a ghost of a deceased person, or if you give the hitchhiker like some clothes, like a jacket to keep them warm, because sometimes in these stories, the hitchhikers, they're always cold. They're like dreadfully cold, where they're like, I'm shaking. Like, it could be like a summer night, and like they're still like, do you have a jacket, my friend? And like the kind driver that they are, they're like, yeah, here, borrow my jacket. And sometimes, you know, the spirit takes the jacket with them, so... Oh, you purgatory? Among Us. So, they take the jacket. Hold on, I'm trying to think of my train of thought, right? They take the jacket with them, and sometimes the jacket can reappear out of nowhere. And, well, out of nowhere, I say, but sometimes it usually appears, like, either in, like, the cemetery or in, like, the gravestones. Hey... Rubs hand together. I would become a ghost for a pretty ghostly. She could kill me if that means I could join her. But you guys are bad influences. Anyways, now if they're a malicious, now this is other like versions of like the story. If it's a malicious like demonic spirit or like demon or whatever, the driver could like sometimes the car ride feels like it's never ending. Sometimes it can feel like it's like lasting hours, longer than they expect. Sometimes the area could suddenly become very foggy, uncharacteristically dark. Like somehow all the lights that were probably once naturally there, like the moonlight, ceases for some reason. All they have is like their own headlights, and then they start seeing things. They start like hallucinating, almost seeing ghosts, seeing like maybe there's like a ghost car following them. You know how unsettling that is, a ghost car following you? Crazy. And then like again, fog, high risks of like more potential accidents. So if you were to like pick up like the more malicious spirit, then it's not going to be a good car ride, which is why hitchhiking is dangerous either way. Either you doing hitchhiking or you're picking up a hitchhiker. I know some people just want to be kind, but hey, no, we're gonna stop talking about cracking ghosts, I swear. You know what? Honestly, like which is why you only want to encounter like. The downside with like the hitchhiker stories, because like you never know if you're gonna pick up a good spirit or a bad spirit, because like again, as I mentioned earlier, there's good versions of the story where it's like obviously a little unsettling because like the person vanishes, but sometimes they can offer you a blessing if they're a good spirit, being like, hey, I'm your guardian angel here, I could protect you on your travels. So it's good if you pick up that version of the hitchhiker, but it's like a 50-50 because you never know if you're gonna pick up the right one. So which is why you have to be sadly overly cautious. I know. It's tragic. Anyways, next up on the list. Creatures. Creatures. One of you guys already guessed one of the creatures. Now, first up on the list. the creature whose name I can never say because I'm genuinely paranoid. And there's a reason why you can't say this creature's name. I'll mention it earlier. But these creature, I'm gonna say Wendy for now. The Wendy's, they're possessed individuals who have like insatiable hunger. They're constantly hungry, and they basically become like monstrous, and they want to feed on like human flesh. And it's a Native American mythology. Specifically, they're malicious spirits again, and they symbolize, when it makes sense why they symbolize this. They symbolize greed, selfishness, and also the ultimate taboo of cannibalism. Don't eat people. People just don't eat people. And a dating simp with ghosts. I know for a fact there's definitely one out there. So their appearance, it varies. The more popular one that people are like they commonly know is that they look more like they look humanoid, but they have deer characteristics. So like the antlers, the skull. Usually like the skull, but the thing that they all have is that their bodies look very malnourished. Like they look like they're like starving. They look like they're like their flesh is barely clinging on, or like you see like their rib cage, and like sometimes they have like sharp claws, sometimes they have hooves, and regardless, they're usually like beastly. But sometimes there's other versions where they just look like people, but they look like skinny, like just like hunchback, kind of like not normal people. They like that uncanny dish with the Wendy's. And now, the reason why you can't say the creature's name out loud is because, at least from what I have been told, if you say their name, it basically draws the attention of the spirits, and they will like try to come at you. They're gonna try to find you, track you down, and sometimes they could send a monster after you to eat you. Like, bruh. But yeah, Until Dawn is like a good like media that like shows, because like what was her name? The girl who she turned into the Wendy. Just don't say the name, and you should be relatively fine. I think at some point she probably had to eat her sister just to like her sister, because her sister was already dead. She was starving while she was down in the mines. She ate her sister, and that's what caused her to turn into a Wendigo. No, into a Wendy. I didn't. When I start talking fast, my brain, it's fine. I only said it once. It's fine. If I say it like 100 times, that's when you should be scary. I think also saying skin, pause, words intersecting walker is also bad, but I'm not sure. Anyways, the Wendy's. Wendy. Like the fast food chain. Okay. Anyways, the way like, so like they possess people, and primarily the spirits, they are like more rampant during the winter season due to food running low, making it easier to catch the people who like let their like hunger be like, yeah, I'm gonna feast on like my neighbor or something. I'm gonna eat my neighbor, and as a consequence, they turn. And this is actually like not exactly the origins of cannibalism, but more like the like to deter like the origins of like, getting consumed by madness. And then because it's like it's called something specific where like when you eat, like people that eat human flesh, something in their brain kind of like a wire unplugs is the best way I could like describe it, where like they're not normal. Something weird happens to them. Yeah, it's a warning. Like in my next slide, it's like, yeah, it's a cautionary tale for like individuals, like, about like don't eat people, don't resort to cannibalism, and to prepare for the winter, because duh. So like individual, like this story, like specifically like with like the spirits, it's basically to tell the community that, hey, don't like self-isolate, work together so we can all survive the torture of the winter season, because like food is running low, people are cold, people are freezing. Don't let your greed and hunger make you eat your friends. Big no. We all just have to like try to like live, basically. So basically, yeah. And as soon as someone eats, like this is how people turn into a Wendy, is if they let their hunger get to the point where they eat an individual. That lets the malicious spirit get the opening that they need to like take over, possess them, and then turn them like more monstrous, and give them that insatiable hunger as punishment, basically being like, oh, you ate your friend, you ate a fellow human, now you're gonna be hungry forever. And you could try to feed yourself constantly. it's never gonna work. And that's like, it's low-key kind of tragic if you think about it. Like, this story is really tragic, like with this creature specifically, because of the fact that, you know, like it's just people trying to like survive, but like, and like, but you just can't take it that step further. Like, but like, I understand, because like there's also like, you know, like the one story where like there was like a plane crash and the people had to resort to eating each other. Like, I know why they had to do it, but it's also like, it's such a sad thing to resort to, which is why like this. But like in this case, in this story, it's usually like a community, and they could help each other. So they're like, hey, we can go past, we can try to survive the winter season as long as we cooperate and work together. Don't eat each other, please. Don't eat each other. Oh shit. Oh, honestly, maybe that could explain why certain like versions of the creature don't have antlers, because of the shed. That is very true. Man, the way like have you ever seen like a deer shed? I'm pretty sure many people have seen like images of like deers shedding their antlers. It's like the most horrifying thing, like blood gushing. It's like ugh, ew. It's creepy. Low key, I find antlers like very like out of all types of horns, I like ram horns, but I also like deer antlers, because like the way they poke and like prod in like different ways, like it's like oddly artistic, and like it looks like tree branches, and that's what like I find kind of cool. Anyways, but yeah, the Wendy's. If you eat a human, that gives a malicious spirit the opening to ruin your life, basically, and then you just become like this crazy monster that's gonna get you. My train of thought. Okay, wait. Now in modern stories, they usually try to keep it to like as close to like the origins, where it's like, hey, if you eat a human, you're gonna turn. Oh, there's spirits in the woods. But usually in common stories, because like nowadays people know how to, because like in the past it was very difficult to like have enough food for the winter, because, you know, we didn't have like advanced technology that can keep like certain things from like going bad real quickly, you know? But like in the past, you know, that was it. But now in modern days, how the stories usually go, it's usually like some reckless teenagers or young college students who go to the woods to camp out, but they just came unprepared. And it's usually obviously during the winter season. Sometimes it cannot be in the winter season, but who knows? And they get disconnected from the world somehow, but usually because it's like it takes place in like heavy winter season or like heavy storms, they can't leave the camp, the cabin that they're in, and then that leads to them dwindling in their supply of food, and then some of the people decide to take drastic measures and eat each other, and then that leads to the people who haven't ate their friends, because they're like, I'm not gonna do that. They have to survive the other friend who has eaten the other people, and that's like how the story goes, where like they're like, oh, just because I didn't eat flesh but my friend did, and now my friend is after me because they have this insatiable hunger, they're becoming a monster. I have to barricade myself somehow until the whatever storm is keeping us locked in this cabin passes, so I can dip, so I can leave. When it comes to like the Wendy stories, these ones, they unsettle me the most, and they're like the main reason why I don't want to go camping anymore. Because of that fear. But hey, as long as I don't eat people, I should be fine. But who knows? I might encounter someone who has eaten people. And there's like, you know, there's like this one specific, I saw like a horror short on YouTube that really like stuck with me, where it showed like it was like two hunters. I don't know what happened. I think maybe like they got into an accident where like they were like, where it made it difficult for them to like travel, and then somehow one of them ate the other, and then like, bro, the prosthetics, like the makeup and the effects that they did to the person, it's so crazy cool what you could do to make like a Wendy like unsettling, because like you could again, you could incorporate like the deer elements, or you could just like make them look like very like what. Oh yeah, like the variations, yeah, like they're like shapeshifters, skin paws, blah, 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 walkers, the Wendy blah blah blah, blah goes. There's like variations, like, and like some, there's also, actually wait, now that I think about it, there's also versions of the story where this creature, they like, as like with the shape shifting element, they're known to like mimic, like I've done a role play a long time ago. I don't know if anyone remembers it, but like I did a role play where like it can mimic people's like voices to lure people towards them. And that's how they hunt, basically. They try to lure people towards them by putting them into a false sense of security by mimicking the voice of someone that they know. Those versions, I'm like, whoa, this creature, this creature is insane. And like these creatures are also, despite, you know, them being very malnourished and being, you know, they look like twigs sometimes, they're alarmingly quick. They're alarmingly strong. That hunger is like, and that spirit is like giving them that boost of like power to like be like, I'm a monster, I'm a beast, I'm gonna hurt everyone. It's wild. Now, next up, the budget is running low. Okay, La Chupacabra. This one, there's more easy like ways to like debunk this story because like it's usually like the blame could be put on like coyotes. But yeah, the goat sucker. That's what the goat sucker. They drain, like in the stories, commonly how it goes. A farmer, like basically they're like, hey, I have livestock. I have a lot of goats. And then suddenly, like the next day, there's puncture holes on their goats' like necks or on their bodies, or sometimes even their chickens. And like they just like, they're like, where the frick did all the blood go? There's like their body is still relatively intact. What the fudge? They called you the chupacabra. That's crazy. And, you know, the version that I was told when I first heard of the chupacabra is that they looked more like coyotes, where they were like, kind of like, they looked canine, and they had like beady red eyes and like the, you know, sharp teeth, obviously. But the more popular, surprisingly, I didn't realize this, the more popular version of the, yeah, it was like a dog. I think I wrote that in my next slide where I mentioned that that a farmer like shot down a creature that turned out it was just like a very sad coyote, rest in peace. But yeah, there's also like versions where like they describe the chupacabra as alien-like, like specific or like reptilian. Basically, it could either be alien, reptilian, fish-like. That was like, but like the one that I know primarily is that it looks more like, it just looks more like a coyote because that was what I've been told. But like the story, it's a very simple story. Again, in like Puerto Rico's, like there was like a farmer who just discovered that for some reason many of his goats kept dying, and specifically it's their blood that's getting, you know, sucked from their bodies. So one day the farmer decided to like try to hunt down whatever is causing the creature to like, that's causing, because like it's their living, it's their farm, it's their animals. They don't want to like lose that profit. They don't want to lose their because like sometimes animals are like their family as well. They're like, I love my goats, so they're like, yeah, I'm gonna hunt down this creature. But then they encounter the creature and they see it like the reptilian or alien. Like it does sound a lot cooler, I will not lie. I was just more familiar with the coyote version of it. Anyways, but yeah, like they see it and they're like, they're basically gobsmacked. They're like, what the fudge am I looking at? What is that thing? And then that thing runs away. It could possibly be a lizard. Like, but yeah, like it's like lizard reptilian. It's a weird cryptid, yeah. Fair. I feel like the reason why maybe like people like, you know, like I don't believe in this specific, I kind of do and I kind of don't. I don't actually, because like it's been debunked a lot, the chupacabra, so I don't really believe this one exists. So I think like the reason why they turned it to look more reptilian and alien like is just so they can fully make it into like, instead of it being like, oh yeah, we could excuse it on a normal animal, they're like, no, yes, it's actually a cryptid and this is what it looks like. That's what I'm assuming probably happened. But anyways, it's compared to a vampire due to the, as aforementioned, like blood sucking ability where it's like scrumdelicious. I should stop doing that. That's gross. And it's killing the farmers, like, you know, livestock. But like one farmer managed to, like, as I mentioned, oh yeah, it is in this slide. The one of the farmers managed to kill like a suspicious like hairless dog or coyote. Yeah, it was sad. I'm not sure. I heard like those stories that I was told, it was always like coyotes or dogs. So that's how I always known. So I think it gone from like that to then, like, I think maybe it flip-flopped. I think it depends on like who you ask. I think some people did like people that like encountered it, they're like, oh yeah, it's a lizard. But then there's other people who were like, no, it's a, so I think it was like simultaneously, it was like two different contradictory stories. And then the one that just got, that won the battle of what the creature looked like was the alien one, because no one wants to believe it's a coyote, because then that's just tragic. Because the coyote is just trying to live. The coyote just wants to like feast and eat food. It just wants to food. I need water. Give me a second. Fun fact, my favorite Pop Tropica map was the one about the chupacabra. No idea why, it just was. Okay, next up on the list, if you guys didn't saw this coming, it's a cryptid more than an urban legend. That's still an urban legend. Bigfoot. This one, I just made a very simple slide. It's not. I didn't go into too much research into the Bigfoot because again, it's like when something is more characterized as a hoax, there's not too much lore added onto it. So like with the Bigfoot, as you can expect, it's primarily humanoid, but it is also described as ape-like, and the hair color can like it's also like with the Bigfoot, it's found in multiple cultures. There's like the Yeti, Sasquatch, which is like just like another name for Bigfoot. Yeah, it's like a type of more cryptid thingy, but it's still an urban legend because like the stories that come from it. But primarily, it's just like this thing with big feet, and there's been photos, there's been videos, but many of them were just like convinced to be like hoaxes. But like many commonalities that people like discovered when like talking about Bigfoot, like people who encountered Bigfoot, is that it always can be heard knocking on wood or mimicking like noises of wildlife, like where like it sounds like normal wildlife, but it doesn't. Like there's like an uncanniness to it. With the Bigfoot story, like it just knows how to mimic it, but just not fully there to the point when people hear Bigfoot around, they're like, that's supposed to be nature, but it isn't. Bigfoot is around. And then when they hear knocking on wood, it's believed that that's like what's the term? Is it plural term for Bigfoot? Hold up. I always say big feet, but I don't think that makes sense. Let me see. Yeah, big feet, big foots. Yeah, so I just had to plug in an S. That doesn't sound right for some reason. Wait, however, because it is a compound noun, you can also use big feet or treat it as in words. Okay. Anyways, Bigfoots. Like with the knocking on wood, people believe that Bigfoots, they do that to basically like big fits words, where they basically like they knock on wood to like almost like Morse code each other or to communicate, like the knocks be like, hey, there's some humans around, or hey, there's like some meat that I've collected or whatever, blah blah blah. There was one specific video that I saw. It was like these group of men. They were in a cage, like for protection, and they were filming the encounter. And all around them, they heard like suspicious like noises that could resemble like wildlife, but it was off. And that was like one big like piece of evidence, because like people that were like looking into like the trying to debunk it, they couldn't debunk it because the audio wasn't plugged. The audio wasn't like inserted in. It was actually coming from the forest, and like they could just make the excuse that maybe one of their friends was just out in the woods doing that stuff. But they're like, who knows? Because like the way that it sounded, it was pretty smooth. Man, trying to figure out the plural for things, it never makes sense. But yeah, like this thing. But yeah, with the Bigfoot, it can be found in multiple like different cultures. Again, Sasquatch, another name for it, the Yeti. So its hair color can vary. The more popular one from I've noticed is more like reddish hair, but there has been like, like, there's like the white hair, there's black hair, there's like just like brownish hair. It varies, but like usually they're very tall, gigantic feet, because the big footprint, that popular, like that's like what popularized it. That's the reason why it's called Bigfoot, because that's like one of its main like popular aspects of it, besides it being like oddly humanoid. But then again, like there's like a lot of like with this like specific cryptid creature, it's been debunked time and time again. So yeah, with the Yeti, they're in colder regions. So like, for example, there was like this one story where it was like a group of campers that mysteriously died in conditions that people are still arguing to this day. I can't remember the case. People believe that maybe it was like an avalanche, maybe some like crazy person went to their camp and they tried, like specifically with that story, there was like weird rips on their tents and like weird footprints all over the place, and all of them were like separated in weird locations. People believe that maybe they were attacked by the Yeti, but I feel like that's like, I'm like, look, people, you guys can like make, like you could add cryptids all over you want, but like this was like a real tragedy, people. So who knows? I don't think it was the Yeti, because I feel like it would make more sense. Because like because like this creature is compared to like being like animalistic. It's still pretty violent. It still acts like an animal. So I feel like it would be, because like the tents were cut with tools, not with like slashes or anything like that, I think. But yeah. So yeah, which is why multiple cultures, different regions, so it can look different. Which is why, like, if it's in like a more like warm climate with like tall trees and stuff like that, it's described to have like more reddish or darker hair. The reddish hair probably to like blend in more with some trees, because like there are some trees that have like more of like a wooden, like a reddish tint to it. So that could explain why I can't remember what type of tree it is, but like they're trying to blend in basically. And then for like the Yeti, white fur blending in with the snow. So again, it varies their appearance, but usually they're just tall, humanoid ape like 6 feet to 9. They're massive. That could honestly, I would believe it personally. I feel like because like we're very close to like monkeys, and because this is like described as ape-like, maybe there's just like one variation of like the animal is like evolving. It's just like who knows. Evolution is a little bit of a complicated thing because like I'm still because like we've gone from being like little weird specks of like bacteria, then we turn to like fishes, and then we turn into lizards, and then to like birds. Land creatures, it's spread all over the place. Evolution is crazy. It's wild. So honestly, I'd believe it. I believe it. You know what? I feel like you got a point there. But I feel like even then, there's so many like because like you might look at like you might like see like a silhouette of a bear, and who knows, maybe you just got the bear and just like the right pose. I saw like the saddest like documentary like clip ever where it was like a mama bear just trying to like take care of like her kids, but she had like a broken arm. Why is nature so sad? Huh? Well, here's the downside when it comes to like researching like new species or things like that. Like it's primarily mostly we'll get to this soon. When it comes to like so land creatures, I feel like people are still like discovering. It's mostly like in the ocean where people were constantly discovering new species, especially in like the deepest part of the oceans. So sometimes maybe there is like an animal out there that we just never like realized existed until someone finally encountered either its corpse or things like that. It's crazy. In Red Dead, why can't I pronounce that game? Red Dead Redemption. Really? I feel like I probably saw a clip of that, but I thought it was just someone who like made a mod or something crazy. But yeah, Bigfoot. This is like the big introduction to like cryptids for many people, where they're like, oh yeah, this is like the starter kit. Be like, yeah, learn a little bit about this one. It's kind of crazy. Now speaking of like the fishes and stuff like that. I think when it comes to like UFOs, it's always people that are like in like open fields. So like as long as like because like they always capture like being like, oh, they're making weird patterns. I see them in the sky in the open field, and I feel like there has to be like something going on. Like there's like this one, I forgot what it's called, but there's like a phenomenon where like sometimes lightning strikes in a weird way where it causes like a circle to appear in midair. And when I heard that fact, I was like, what? So I feel like some people, like, maybe there's like just like weird events that people are mistaking it for. Okay, but this is like the second introduction. Nessie, the Loch Ness Monster, a Scottish folktale. Folklore specifically. So the sightings, similarly to Bigfoot, many of the stuff can be like seen as like hoaxes or just like misunderstandings of another existing creature. There was also there was also like one theory that maybe the person who took a photo of this just saw like a weird looking like piece of wood sticking out of the water, and they snapped a photo because it looked like funny, and then since then people saw this photo and just mistook that piece of wood for a creature. The fresh lake creature specifically. And like the main characteristics with Nessie is that it has like a very long neck, and people to this day actually are still trying to like look more into like this cryptid, into like this monster. Like they actually, there's like this one person in particular, I can't remember his name, but like he made like a semi-submarine type of thing where it lets him like look into like the waters like around Scotland, and it's like crazy like how people are very invested in Nessie. And honestly, I can't even blame them. I feel like Nessie, out of all of the monsters that I've said, I feel like they're not. I personally, I headcanon that this isn't a violent creature. Because like, and the reason why is because like long necks, I associate them with more like, are they called herbivores? Hold on, let me double check. Herbivores. How do you herbivores? Herbivores are organisms for tiny insects, not. Oh no, wait, to massive elephants that rely only entirely on plants or for their nutrients. Yeah, personally, I like to believe Nessie is, I could be wrong. This is my headcanon again. I like to believe that Nessie is like a herbivore because of like the long neck. It reminds me of a giraffe, and it also reminds me of that one dinosaur. What's the dinosaur with the long neck? Dinosaur, long neck. Like, it reminds me of Brachiosaurus? I wanted to hear the name being said out loud, not the call of it. Like, I don't know why. I will always associate long-necked creatures to be more herbivores, because, like, they're trying to reach for something. They're like, I want food. I want delicious, delicious. What's a carnivore? Let me see. Is there even a carnivore with a long neck? Carnivores with long neck. Does one exist? Am I crazy? Hold up. Oh, what the fudge is that? While the vast majority of long-necked animals throughout history were, see, this is why I think this is why I don't think it eats people, because of that. Okay, were herbivores. Nature has developed a few remarkable carnivore species with surprisingly not long necks, largely to aid in stealth hunting or sweeping through waters. Oh, to catch prey faster, then maybe it could technically still be one. Well, since Nessie is a water creature, I guess maybe arguably. Oh wait, the Tanistropheus? What? I don't know how to pronounce that. This bizarre Triassic reptilian features an incredibly long neck that's made up more than half of its total 6-foot body length. It was a carnivore that likely used its slender neck to stealthily sneak up on schools of fish without its bulky body being detected. Oh, wow. Now that's alarming. Okay, yes, Nessie could technically be a carnivore, but I'm gonna headcanon that they're an herbivore, because Nessie is such a cute name, and they look so cute. Look at this. Look at the little thing. It doesn't look like it would eat people. It looks like it would just eat coral, or not coral. It look like it would just eat like seaweed or something. Who knows? I'm gonna just headcanon that, but who knows? Okay, I'm gonna be honest. I added this one as a joke. It's not an urban legend. It's a legendary creature. I saw the horse mask and I couldn't resist. I completely forgot I added this. The unicorn, a horse with a horn. It's Scotland's national animal. The national unicorn day is April 9th. Fun fact for you guys. And it has the powers to heal and purify. Specifically, when it touches like its horn to water, it can purify the water instantaneously. And its blood, it can extend life, however, it comes at a cost. It's primarily in the Harry Potter books, but its tears, because it gives the tears willingly, because it could cry for humans, it basically does the healing. I added this as a joke. I couldn't resist. I was like looking up stuff. Let me tell you, unicorns, they're such a fascinating creature if you think about it, because like they're usually connected to like goodness and purity, obviously, and stuff like that. But like if you were to like kill or harm one, that could lead to very drastic consequences. And that's like the element that I find very intriguing when it comes to unicorns, because like when it comes to like stories of like bad people hunting down unicorns, it always like leads to like constant like suffering for the person. And it makes sense, because like why would you kill a unicorn? Unicorns are such beautiful creatures. Maybe that's the reason why we don't see unicorns nowadays, because of stupid humans like you hunting them down for their blood. Like, bruh, let them be beautiful creatures. You're not. It's technically the third time. First it was my Valentine stream, then it was my second Valentine stream, and now here, I just can't resist the horse mask. The horse mask is way too funny, and if I were to do another Uma Musume stream, I'm gonna wear a horse mask. My Valentine's Day streams, they're always gonna be like the most unpredictable, weirdest thing ever. Anyways, that's the unicorn. I'm sorry, we were talking about so much horror that just suddenly I just threw in the unicorn. Anyways, next up, pop quiz. It's a very short pop quiz. I just wanted to like be like very little simple, kind of like, haha, here's a funny little thingies. So let me also real quick just let's make a thingy. So hold up, let me make a chap hole. Now, so I'm gonna make a chap hole right now. What does La Llorona stand for? For those who know the answer, don't say it in chat just yet. Wait until I get the poll just up. I want to see how many of you guys were actually paying attention. If you don't know anything about the urban legend, then and you didn't learn it. If you weren't in the beginning of the stream, then that's on you. I'm joking. Now, it could either be the Weeping Woman, the Wandering Woman, let me add in the other options, the River Woman, I'm typing it all in, the River Woman, or the Dead Woman. Okay, let's see how many of you guys were actually paying attention. Let's see, hold up. There we go. Now, set in your votes. Let's see how well you guys were participating. Good. Okay, I'm seeing you guys are smart. I'm seeing you guys are smart. All right. Now, with that Llorona, let me give some like quick little hints. You know, she was a very sad woman. She's a very sad woman. She's looking for her kids. You know, she wanders the river. You know, who knows? Good. It's good that you know. You know, she's been like she's crying a lot. She's doing her thing. She's just chilling in the river. Sometimes she kills people. She's dead. Okay. Ending poll. And the number one answer, the Weeping Woman. And guess what? Good. You guys were correct. Please, oh my goodness. I would have been so disappointed if you guys were. I'm glad you guys all voted correctly. But yeah, again, this is a very easy quiz. I just wanted to add this in just for like the little funsies. Now the next one, another very easy question. What does Kuchisaki Onna stand for? You want to know which guys win? You guys win? Good luck. That's what you win. You win good luck. Honestly, like maybe one day I want to like do like a thing where like, and when I do like another like pop quiz like related thing, I'm gonna also type in like I'm gonna also make the poll while I'm saying this. I want to make like a funny little thing where like in the future, if you guys primarily get a lot of like the answers correct, I want there to be like a funny like little like be like, oh, I'm Deku, like, you know, like those like weird like what are they called, copy pastas or something? I accidentally muted, I'm sorry. They're like, I want to like do something like that in the future. Yeah, I'm sorry. Where I wanted like a part of me wants to like do like little like weird things where like you guys do get like a little victory of just like humiliating me. Okay, now what does it stand for? The Scissor Woman, the Slit Mouth Woman, Envious Woman, Masked Woman. Again, very easy, very, very easy questions. No one should really be like struggling too much. It's all fun. It's all for funsies, people. Okay, see, you guys are smart. You guys are see. I don't even have to wait that long. You guys, boom, correct, people, correct. The Slit Mouth Woman. Very easy. Very quick. Okay, did I don't know. Actually, do I have I feel like I do have a third question, don't I? Okay, wait. Okay, it says question 2. It's wrong. Okay, now, how do people turn into Wendy's? Okay? Do they A, do they do it by eating a human? Do they B, starve to death in the, like, do they have to, like, be starving in the woods? Hold up. Starving in woods. I can type fast. I cannot type fast. What the heck? Hello? Caps key. Work with me. Do they starve in the woods? Do they eat their own flesh? Crazy. Or do they steal other people's food? And then, like, spirits basically are like, yo, as a consequence for stealing from thy neighbor, we will make your life suffer. Okay. There we go. Get mugged by a fae. Oh my gosh, wait, fae store. Let me tell you, like when it comes to like fae creatures, you have to like you have to avoid so many things. You still have to be polite to them, but you can't give them their name. You can't give them your name. And if you accept their meal, then that can lead to like a consequence of like basically like they're like, oh, now you owe me one. Basically, you should never owe a favor to a freaking fae because that would just be bad. That would just be bad. Now, It's now little hints now with Wendy's. You know, they're creatures. They're always, you know, they're always hungry. They're always sad. They're little weirdos, and they're like they just want to eat flesh. And they're like people. You know, they were once humans, but then they're now possessed by spirits. And Oop. The correct answer was okay. I forgot to add it in. Was A. Now technically, yes, starving in the woods is like kind of like parallel, but they have to consume flesh to like fully begin the transformation. So yeah, starving is like the beginning point, but not what sparks it. The eating of the flesh is what sparked it. Yeah. And this was like the last question that I've written. I had to like, all my budget for like what I was able to do all week was like primarily towards the videos. So I couldn't make everything like too much. So it's just like simple 3 questions, like for funsies. I know it says question 2. I forgot to change that to a 3. But yeah, this was my weird slideshow about urban legends. I should have added fae, honestly. Man, faes, they're such a cool thing, because like you never expect like fairies to be like evil, because like you whenever you hear stories about fairies, they're like such like adorable little things, but then you think about Tinkerbell, where like Tinkerbell, she was like low-key kind of jealous and kind of like trying to kill Wendy, and you're like, wait, they're kind of weird though. They're a little weird. They're a little suspicious. I should honestly, fays, never give them your name. Be careful with be careful, maybe just like be mindful of like just, you know, not owing them anything. Oh, gnomes. I have to, honestly, I want to look a lot into like gnomes as well, because like the most I know about gnomes, which is not really anything, is like that one meme where it's like, you got gnomed. And I'm like, that happens to me so often. People like pulling pranks on me. Hold up. I want to look at stuff. Hold up. Wait, like there's so many like what are your guys' like favorite, like what's your favorite urban legends? What's your favorite cryptids? What's your favorite like spooky stories, either from like your culture or other cultures? You know, they're all very fascinating. Oh, this should, honestly, I should have done like a survival guide. Okay, wait. How to survive La Llorona. Don't go near bodies of water, period. If you are by a body of water, you're screwed. Sorry. No winning that. If you encounter the Kuchisake Ona, you just say so-so or give her candy and money and then run while she's distracted. To escape the black-eyed children. Don't let them enter your house. Simple as that. Just don't let them enter your house. Hitchhiker. Don't pick up any hitchhikers. Period. Unless you think they're good. But even then, it's still a 50-50 chance. The Wendy's. Just don't say their name. Don't eat human flesh. And then just be prepared, especially during the winter season, or if you're going camping and you know that a storm is probably going to hit, make sure you pack the supplies you need. Like, people, be responsible. And if you're just like those people where it's like hard to get food, then I'm so sorry. Like I understand the struggle. And if you could hunt during the winter, it's gonna be hard, but you could always try to put in that effort. Like you don't have to like eat your if you're like in the woods and like a heavy storm hits, you could try to hunt maybe like during like the snowstorm, but it is still actually pretty dangerous. Actually, now that I'm thinking about it, if you're gonna encounter Wendy, you're kind of screwed. La chupacabra. It doesn't really eat humans. Well, it could, but it primarily eats livestock. So as long as like you have a gun on hand, I guess you should be fine. Bigfoot usually, okay, wait. Here's something about Bigfoot. Bigfoots, they're commonly known to like, yes, they can be violent and territorial. Like they don't want anyone up in their grill being like, hey, this is my home. Back off, motherfrickers. However, they're also known to like actively avoid like humans. So you should be fine as long as like you're not messing with them. Nessie, maybe just don't enter the water, I guess. But who knows? My headcanon again is that Nessie doesn't eat humans. Unicorns, they're not violent, but their horn can still do a lot of damage. Like they could pierce you, basically. That's like their defense. They can like stab you. So just don't mess with them and you should be fine. El choro negro y ochuro. Wait, hold on. Is that is it like the black cowboy? Is that what I'm thinking of? Hold on, let me see. I can't spell right now. I think I know what the one you're talking about. That one I know so little about. Hold up. Though it does fascinate me. It's in Spanish. Es una de las lendas más famosas. Frick. Más famosos de... Okay, I should not be reading Spanish. My reading Spanish skills is bad. Okay. A figure in Mexican folklore representing a demonic cowboy. Yep, I was correct. Okay. It is also the name of a highly popular, refreshing Mexican cocktail. That's not what I was... Okay, no. The legend. The supernatural, malicious entity often associated with the devil. Appearance, he is described as a tall, handsome man dressed in an elegant, pitch black, choro. Why can't I pronounce it? Suit. Okay, give me a second. I have to hear it say it out loud so I know how to say it. That's how bad I am at words. Okay.
Charro.
Words, I still can't say it. Charro. Suit, complete with a wide brim. Sombrero. He rides a massive jet black horse with fury red eyes. Whoa. Nice. Honestly? Homie can get it. I'm joking. What? It's like, it kind of reminds me of like the Ghost Rider. Wait. La leyenda de I can't pronounce it. This one mix that series that those like la leyenda de la Llorona, la leyenda de la that franchise, La Leyenda. What is it? Wait, what is the name of that franchise? I know it's called. Is it just called La Leyenda or? Now I know how to say the word. Freaking hold up. What's cartoon? That was like one way I got exposed to La Llorona was through that cartoon. Bro, that cartoon, I want to rewatch so many of it. Like, that's like a good, it's so good, man. Let me tell you, bro. It scared me, but like in a good way. What is the franchise called? Las Leyendas. Okay, that makes more sense. Those, like, I don't know why I was hooked onto like I didn't even realize there was like multiples. I gotta watch. They have one on that guy though. I should watch it. I'm gonna watch it. Crazy. And then what was the other one? El sombrero. Okay. Whoa. Is a prominent legend, boogeyman or folklore figure in blah blah blah, famous in blah blah blah. Oh wait, the character blah blah blah. Give me okay. He's a remarkably short man who wears a massive, shiny black hat, gleaming boots, and a silver belt. He is never seen without his guitar. Ooh. He is known for wandering the streets at night, specifically targeting young women who have long hair and large, dark eyes. Well, I guess I'm lucky. He visits their homes, serenades them with his guitar, and tangles their hair in complicated knots. He also braids the manes of horses, and wow, actually that's kind of cute. What? The only way it leaves a woman alone. Okay, that part's a little iffy. The only ways to leave a woman alone is if she cuts. If for her to cut her hair, or for her to build a cross made of pine and roses leaves in her. Okay, that's interesting, man. This is why I love getting told new things, because like there so many urban legends fascinates the frick out of me. But yeah, these were some of my favorite ones for the day. So I hope you probably learned something. Or you just got some like maybe like some familiar knowledge that you have learned in the past just got like refreshed in your brain. And you're like, oh yeah, that was a fact about that. So yeah, I love urban legends. I love hearing like scary stories. I No Sleep subreddit. Like I always end up like listening to so many tales of like cryptids and like stories, because like just like horror in general, I always find is like just so fascinating, because like in horror stories, like as I mentioned with like La Llorona and like even the Slipmouth Woman, like there's like people like to also add like hints of tragedy with the stories. Like with the Llorona, she lost her kids and her life. With the Slipmouth Woman, she just like she got disfigured, and now she wants other people to be disfigured, because like she's gone from like just being like I'm sad to like now I'm mad. And then there's like implications where like you see like the black-eyed children, and you're like, man, what could have happened to these kids? What are the reason why they're wandering spirits? So yeah, this urban legend, this was fun. I'm glad you guys indulged my little moment of just rambling, just talking for funsies. Because I had a good time. Later on in the future, when I do like another similar type things, maybe I will do like a survival guide for random cryptids. Because honestly, that sounds like a really fun stream. I am gonna do like a survival guide for certain like creatures, because that would be hilarious. Just being like, hey, there's like that one TikTok I seen where it's like this guy being like, hey, you want to know how you could fight against a bear? You can't fight it, but I can. I just have to suplex the bear, and then after I suplex the bear, I throw them into a helicopter. That helicopter takes them to the nearest hospital, but then I pull the plug on there. I'm like, what? You are a genius. Muchas gracias. But yeah, like later, like when I do like another one, I'm gonna make it so it's like a little bit, I want to like make it more visually appealing. Like my slideshows, I want to make them more visually appealing, and I want to make the quiz show a little longer, maybe 10 questions, and then like have later down the line also like do like a funny thing, like if you do primarily, like if you get like 70% of the answers correct, like if like that has to be like the majority vote, then I will do like a funny little like, haha, now I have to do this thing. What is here's the thing, I'm like the type of person where like punishment doesn't really affect me too much. Oh, drawing cryptids, that could be so fun. Wait, I could do like the stupid thing where like, you know how people they just can't resist turning like a scary thing into like a pretty lady? I could see myself doing that by accident, where I'm like, oh, I could turn that into a pretty lady, or I could turn that into a pretty man, who knows? I could see myself doing that for funsies. Yeah, I could like draw or stuff. Yeah, it's so hard because like I have little shame. It's so hard to punish me with things because I'm gonna just like be laughing at myself. Like you could give me like the most cringiest, like, what is it? Hold on, let me look up a copy pasta and I'll be able to say it without like batting an eye, I think. Copy pasta cringe? Sure. Let's look it up. Let me show you how little shame I have. What is this? Hold on, wait, I'm gonna read it. What is this? Oh my goodness. Okay. Okay, maybe I do have a little bit of shame. What the? Hold on, wait. Wow, I can't. Cooperate with me. Okay. I'm gonna, I'll do it because it would be fun. If it's, okay. Hold on, I'm gonna copy and paste it so you guys can read it along with me. Let's see if, hold on, let's see if it, okay, wait. No, it's too many words. It's too many words. No. Okay. Hold on, wait, I know a solution to this. Give me a second. I can fix this. I will do this. I'm gonna show how little shame I have. This is gonna be so hilarious. It's so stupid. I'm so sorry. This will, because you guys got the majority of the answers correct today, think of this as your reward. You should be scared. You should be scared. Okay? All right. Okay, I do have a little bit of shame in me, but I'm gonna do it anyways because I said I was gonna do it. Okay. Okay, wait, hold on. My reading skills. Okay. What is that? Say arf? Okay. Bark, arf, arf, bark, arf. Excuse me, teacher. Could you please turn off the lights? The lens artificially light bulbs harmful to my natural wolf eyes, which change color depending on my mood. What do you mean you don't believe me? They turn yellow when I'm happy, red when I'm really, really angry, and green when I'm on the hunt. Bark, arf, arf, bark, arf. Speaking of mealtime, you look like you could suffice for my afternoon wolf snack. But I will restrain because my mother said if I get sent to the principal's office one more time for biting someone, when she will take away my wee. However, I cannot, shall I say, I'll do the same for Marissa. Who's Marissa? Marissa, the meow, heart, cat girl who's been flirting with my crush Jake all week. Look at them over there, laughing, flirting like I don't even exist. Hiss. You don't know that no happiness like a Wii game can bring me will compare to that which I will feel when Jake is mine, Arf. Kill me. Kill me. People, I am. The fact that people are actually like this is unsettling. Okay. Oh yeah, oh yes, it's definitely a true story, man. Yeah, me and Jake were like tight. I hate Marissa, whoever that person is. Marissa, Rarf, cat girl, she will die. But yeah, I have little shame. I can say anything, I can do anything, and I probably... What is one thing that would genuinely... What would be something that would embarrass me? I guess only something like... If I was like straight up like in public. That was pretty feral. I think like I have to like do something like in public. Maybe like, you know, like people like do like that game, like what is it called? Like the penis game? That sounds weird. Where like they just like whisper like that word and then they progressively get louder until one of them gives up. It's like a game of chicken. I feel like that would be like the only instance where I'll be too much of a coward because I'm like, no, I can't do it. I can't do it, not in public. It sounds weird, but no, it's basically just saying like just like saying like something, be like booby, booby, boobies! Basically just like getting louder and louder. My neighbors know, they definitely will hate me. They will hate me. I feel like if my neighbors could hear me now, I try my best to pad my room in a way where it tries to like soundproof a little bit. But like, if they heard me saying all that, I think they're probably gonna question me. They're like, oh, a content creator? Why the frick do we have that in our freaking building? But yeah, I have a little shame. It's very like I could even like I still have like the freaking, you know, like the sour powder that I like consumed during the Apex stream. I still have that. Like I'm gonna stick my tongue in it right now. I have it in my tongue, and now I feel like my mouth is covered in shower. Yep. Oh my goodness. Tasty. Whew. See, like I have no shame, and I'm low key a little bit of a masochist. That sounds bad. So yeah, if I were to like do it, like, don't do what I do, people. Have more self-restraint. But yeah, like if I were to like ever do like a thing, if the day ever comes where like I'm playing like Uno with other people and like the loser has to like basically face a punishment, I'll be able to do it with ease, man. I'll do it with a smile, even. Granted, by the end of it, I will feel embarrassed. I know for a fact that I'm gonna probably look back at this and be like, why did I do that? But in the moment, I'm like, I think the reason why is because as soon as like I'm in front of a microphone and I'm just like staring at like YouTube, my brain just like shuts off a little bit, being like, self-control. It's still there, but you're willing to be a little ridiculous. It's fun to be a little ridiculous though, you know, as long as like you're not harming people. I actively like I'm restrained to the point where I know not to do anything that will harm people, but I don't have restraints for, you know, doing the stupid thing. Like, for example, every time I play a horror game, I actively like jumping towards danger sometimes. Like, sometimes I also like running away from danger, of course. But like going towards it is like, yeah, like YOLO. It's fun. It's fun to like, it's because like it's unexpected. I want to be like that chaotic nature that makes people go, wow. You know what? That was pretty good. Oh man, my mouth tastes like lemons. And like people like, they always do like, you know what? Live, laugh, love type shift. Be like, hey, ladies, I'm just trying to do my work type shift. I'm gonna shake your braids, ladies. Look at my braids. Blah, 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 blah. It's crazy. Yes, we are cringe, but we are free. It's good to be a little cringe, you know? But like, man, I never, like, when it comes to like that creepypasta, there is actually people like that in real life. I don't have dreads, but I got braids, so it makes sense in my case. Shaky, wiggle, 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 wiggle. What else can I wiggle? I feel like, hold on, wait. Hold up. I'm looking. The only other thing I can wiggle is like the little like tufts on the bows on my shirt. That's it. But yeah, I have the bone where it makes you embarrassed recently. It just like stopped working for me half of the time. It's still there sometimes, but, you know, if it's for fun and games, I'm willing to embarrass myself. I don't have any poses. The most I have is changing my expressions. So hold on, wait. Boop, 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 boop. I can make myself look, I'm nervous. What's happening? What? I'm scared. I could also have stars in my eyes. Oh my gosh. What's going on, my friends? And then, I'm nervous. What the frick is that? I think I also have tears. Oh yeah, tears. I'm so sad. I'm crying. Look at me. What was me? And then I also have, I'm so cool. I should have done this. I should have done this expression while I was doing the creepy, the copy pasta. That would have been hilarious. I also have anger. I'm mad. I'm mad at you. And I think there's more. I just can't find them, or I just can't remember what they were because the buttons. I lost the buttons. But yeah, I have like little adjustments that I can make. The one that I commonly use, especially for thumbnails, is always It's always this one because I'm like, someone's about to kill me. Someone's about to kill me. Someone, I'm crying. I'm crying. Someone save me. My poor soul. Please save my soul. This is one that I commonly use, especially if it's for like horror games, because it's like it's such a it makes sense combo. But yeah. I sometimes do sometimes I have to like there's like occasionally a thumbnail I make. Hold on, let me see if I can find an example of one. I know like sometimes there's like where I have to like go in and redraw some elements or like draw over some elements. Where was it? There was one that was not recent, but like in a previous stream. Oh yeah, for example, the latest this year's Valentine's stream, or was it last year's? No, this year's Valentine's stream. You could see like my eyes, they're like more darker. It's more leaning towards the red rather than the gold. As you could see, like my eyes, they go from like semi-purple to red to like gold. In the Valentine's one, it's mostly red, but then it has a spiral of gold just to like emphasize that it's like dizzy, like whoa, what the frick am I? What I'm like going insane. I'm a little crazy. That's like one instance where I actually like drew on the thumbnail a bit just to make it a little more spicy. But overall, I kind of just keep it simple. Because like I don't have to like do too. I don't think I have to do too much, you know. But yeah, like for the most part, I'm just like another example. There was one. Which one was it? I saw it. What the? I thought I saw it. Now I lost it. Oh, another example was the El Forte Morete. It's basically like a El Forte Morete. It's a horror game where I basically just took the you see like the shine at the top of my pupil, my diamond pupils. I sometimes like take that off. I could also just squint just to not show it. But like when I do like wide eyes expression, the glow in my eyes makes it so it looks like I'm like, oh, I'm whimsical, I'm bright eyed. But then I just like I erase it, so it makes it look like I'm like more scared, you know? Be like, oh. You know, it's like me. My thing is like, so like a long time ago, like if you were to like travel real back in time with like my channel, before I sounded like a little more, I sound a lot different than I do nowadays. So like before I I talked like this because I was trying to like sound mature, but in the end, every time I look back at my old videos, it just sounded more like I was dead or tired. And like with the ever since I got this model, my voice just got like higher pitched and higher pitched the more I started using it, because I felt like it's more fitting. Like me, I want to make sure that at least like relatively like it's still pretty close to like my regular speaking range, but like I feel like when I normally talk, I don't go this high. I'm trying. Okay, wait. How do I normally talk? Okay. How words? Do I know how to words? Okay. I'm trying. Okay, I'm sounding a little bit monotone, but this is kind of close to my regular voice. But then when, again, as soon as I hit live stream and then I see like my VTuber model, I'm like, no, I gotta instantly bring up that energy. Oh yeah, it's especially noticeable in like the Sonic Zombies video. Yeah. Sonic Zombies, that will always have like a special place in my heart. Is the humor for like mature for a mature audience? Oh, 1000%, but it still has a good place in my heart. Oh, yeah, man, that's been a while, man. How long ago did I do the? I still haven't freaking beaten that freaking game, and it still makes me salty to this day. Like after like playing it, I tried playing it some more to see if I could get the hang of it. Never could. I tried. But yeah, like, with like, if you were to like compare what I look like now to what I look like in the past, I looked a lot more like I had a much more darker aesthetic, basically, where because I was mostly embracing the witchy like like necromancer elements. But then nowadays I'm like, no, I'm in disguise. I have to hide the fact that I'm a necromancer. Which, if you didn't know that about my lore, that's what I am. Oh, definitely. Yeah, the humor is so now, if it was made nowadays, people would try to cancel it. But in the past, it was, you know, a product of its like time, and it was good. It was good still. So, like, what are other like weird things that I know? I've seen like a handful of things in the past besides like Sonic Zombies that were like where you're like, why did you watch that as a kid? But I can't. What else? I know there was weirdness. This isn't really. It kind of counts, but it doesn't really. You know, like the realistic Undertale. Is that what it's called? Like, it's that one. It's not as, it doesn't have as crude, I guess, of a humor, but it still has like its moments. I feel like that was like another one where I'm like, be like, oh, I just saw someone explode into guts and chunks, but like it's still like family friendly enough because again, it's like a YouTube thing, so it's crazy. But yeah, that was like another thing that I watched. I know there was something weirder that wait, there was one about like these like animal like cartoon characters where like when you look at it at a glance, you're like, oh. It's like they're just like it's just like a cute cartoon, but it turns out they kill each other. What the frick was it called? Is it like Animal Friends or something? I don't think that's what it's called. Happy Tree Friends? What is it? Hold on, wait, let me see. I can't remember. Hold up. Happy Tree. Yes, that one. My sister, like when I first discovered it, I only saw like the safe for work stuff. But then when my sister like realized that I got it, like I discovered it, she immediately was like, nope. I'm gonna be the adult here. So she just made sure that I never watched it. So I don't know the full extent of whatever the series is about, but now that I'm older and like I see like but like it's still like a kid should not be seeing that stuff. Oh. What happened? Oh, okay. The stream blocked for a second. I'm back. Okay. You know, I feel like I kind of I want to like update my lore. Like if I were to because I mentioned like a long time ago that I would like to like have like a different model like one day, and like I feel like I want to incorporate like what I have now so it's still familiar and like what I had before, but maybe like with small adjustments. So who knows what I'll think about? Who knows? But it's probably. I think I'm gonna stick with this one for like a hot minute because I like this one. I'm just a girl, you know, with my bear theme, you know, pinks. You know, I'm touching my inner feminine wilds, you know, pink cuteness. Yeah, I don't like for some reason I have to like refresh the chat. Like it's whenever like I switch scenes too, the chat kind of gets a little funky. It should be functioning now though. I'm pretty sure. Yeah. But yeah, what's another cryptid? I know there's like more. There was like another one that I wanted to like briefly mention that I forgot to touch on that I also really liked. That was not mentioned. What was it? I know I can't think of one. Yeah, but yeah, like all the ones that I mentioned, those were like my favorite ones, or the ones that I was told the most about, and then I just did a little bit of it. Probably. Yeah, like if I do get like a new model, of course I'm gonna like make like I'm gonna like drop like and be like, oh, 2.0 or whatever. like new like update on the lore. Maybe something else happens. Maybe I have a robotic arm. I'm joking. Who knows? Who knows? But I think I'll just stick with this for now for like because like I don't have like any plans for that at the moment. But maybe one day, who knows? Maybe in the far future when I feel like because like when it comes to like also branding, I don't want to like rebrand too much to the point where it's like unrecognizable. Because like people are now like, because I already did that once. People were used to how I looked like before, and then now I'm like I look like this, and like I've been like this for like 2 years now. So I think people are now used to this. But if I were to like do something like very drastic, people would be like, "Who are you?" So I don't want to do that to people. Yeah, for like the time skip, I'm like futuristic all of a sudden. I'm like, whoa, look at my cybernetics. But yeah, that's like a future maybe thought, but I just don't want to like do anything too drastic. Who knows? Maybe like a different outfit could be kind of nice. Who knows? I'll think about it. Like maybe it'll just still be me, just different outfit and like just different colors. Who knows? We'll see. Maybe I'll dye my pink to a different color. I did mention a long time, like a funny thing I wanted to do is like maybe like for Halloween, I have like a Halloween outfit where I'm like I'm like pumpkin colors, like orange, blacks, ooh, all that good stuff. I feel like it would be fun. I feel like it would be like a silly little like thingy to do. Yeah, but I feel like I want to like, even like I know like life like is always changing, but I also like I like to like keep things still like familiar because like I don't want to like bring people to because like what if someone really liked like what I look like now and then I just like change it so much where they're like I miss the old you and I'm like dang I'm sorry my friend sorry. So yeah, maybe small adjustments because like even like with this model like I could make my hair long. People would probably like if I were to like start streaming with like my long hair version, they're probably gonna be like, "Who the frick are you?" Wait, let me see if I wait. Which one is the long hair key? I don't know. Wait, which one is it? Which one is it? I'm gonna activate it. I look weird with long hair. I'm not gonna lie. I'm considering letting my hair grow out, but I don't think I could do it for some reason. Okay. I think like because like long hair is just like more. Okay. I have to combine. I'll do this key. Okay. There we go. See? Like, imagine I used to start streaming like this. Because, like, people will probably, like, be like, wait, what the frick? Be like, what who are you? Like, obviously it's still me to, like, the point where you're like, oh yeah, I can recognize that it's still you, but you're, like, people are, like, more used to, like, seeing me with, like, shorter hair, and I'm used to having shorter hair. Like, the only thing that's, like, the only, like, part of my hair that is long is my braids, so, see? But yeah, it was just, like, I feel like maybe, like, if I were to, like, do an outfit change, I'll probably, like, just, like, make small adjustments, like, things like that. It's cute, don't get me wrong, but, like, it's just, like, I'm just, like, so used to, like, having, like, the short hair that just, like, seeing everything go long mode, I'm like, whoa. Man, it's been a hot minute. Oh, wait, I also have a blushing. Which one is the blushing thing? I know I have a blushing emote somewhere. Well, it's lost to time. Nope, that's stars. That's... Nope. Who knows where blushing is, but I have, like, a blushing thing as well. And then bangs, I could make the wrong one. Like, this combo is kind of funny to me. Personally, I don't think I can rock small bangs, like, at all. Like, people are good with, like, very, like, tiny bangs. Like, you could see my eyes more, though. That's, like, the thing that I like about this. I feel like with this, I look a lot more gentle. With this combo, I feel like I look, like, oddly more gentle. Where I'm like, hey, hello there, everyone. I hope you're doing fine. I'm just tired. Huh? I got this model, so here's some lore people would probably be surprised to hear. So I was like doing like auditions to like join, yeah, micro bangs. I was auditioning for like to join like a VTuber group, and like at some point like I didn't make it through the next stage, so but they couldn't use the model, and they were like, hey, do you want the model? And I was like, I can. You're gonna give it to me? And they're like, yeah, just follow the rules of the creator that made the rig and the art, and you could have it. And I'm like, oh, I'll take it. Thank you so much. Which is why in like the description, like in the description, you could see like me always like thanking this person called Cloudy. That's like how I knew them. So so like they gave it to me, and since then I'm like I've been like so grateful because now I feel like I can be 10 times more expressive than I could if I was just a PNG. So I'm like yes, thank you so much. Thank you so much. And honestly, being like having like because I'm portraying this character that's more cutesy compared to my more dark aesthetic in the past, it also allows me to be like more whimsy and energetic, which I also like appreciate like a whole lot. Yeah, it's some crazy lore about me. Yeah, I auditioned and then just like some like the Cloudy was like, yeah, here you go, have it. We're not gonna use it, you can. And I'm like, why are you so sweet? What the frick? But yeah, what are other things? I think there's other stuff as well. I could be wrong. No, I think I have I think I showed off all the toggles that I have at the moment. Yeah, my lore is very awkward. I mean, I even have like older lore where I had like an old channel where like I made like where I just like made like the weirdest content ever, and like I made like I once was like one of like those animation meme animators. Granted, a lot of those animations they weren't the best, but like when I was younger, I made some, and And like every time I look back at them, I'm like, man, I've gone so far. I've gotten better with animation, but I still have like it's still rough around the edges, and I still want to learn like more techniques. But yeah, my start of my the beginning of my YouTube career was making animation memes, comic dubs, and then I progressed to doing like a gaming channel, which is this channel. That then my gaming channel turned into a recap analysis channel with live streaming at the same time. Hey, sometimes unhinged memes is all people need in their content. I love memes. I also and now I'm finding like excuses to like touch back to my roots of making animations with like YouTube shorts. Like I can't do it all the time, but like sometimes I do. I'm not sure. I feel like I might want to try to work with the artist of this model because I really like the art in general. So I think I probably like if I were to like get a new outfit, I think I definitely would reach out and be like, hey, I think like just like the language barrier might be the thing that would be a little iffy, but I think they could still help. Farmer Simulator. I'm still thinking about that because like I want to be in the mood to do a simulator because I haven't been in the mood to do any simulator. The last simulator I did was like a cooking. It wasn't even. It was kind of simulator, and I was like, ugh, I was struggling. It got banned after 5 years. Whoa, why? It was just memes. What did you like? Was there a controversial meme? Man, tragic. What happened? I'm like looking at all the combinations that I have. What is this one? Hmm. Simulator games. I used to honestly, gosh, when I used to play a lot of Roblox, I always played like those tycoon games, and I was once like addicted to tycoon games. But like nowadays, I look at a tycoon game, and I'm like, ugh, ugh. Hey, a PNG tuber is still a fun tuber in my opinion. I love them all because like, bro, let me tell you, I've seen so many cool designs from like PNG tubers. And like some people, like, they still find ways to incorporate animations, like where like when they first like when there's just like standing still, but then they open up their mouth and there's like a small animation where like maybe like their hair sways a bit or like they blink, and I'm like, whoa, man, people they're progressing, they're progressing. Oh, it was a school account, bro. When I lost my school account, I was so sad because I had like that's where I had some of like so I used to take film class and we recorded like stupid films for like funsies or like serious films. We did a black and white like slapstick like silent film. We also did like almost like a horror film and like some comedy skits here and there. And I had a lot of those videos saved on like the YouTube channel for that account, but since I graduated, they obviously are gonna wipe all of the accounts. So all of those ones are lost to time. I can never see the weirdness. Yeah, PNG tubers are like so. I love them. So every time I see one, I just like I love admiring the art as well. And you could do like a lot of weird things with like PNG tubers just to like make it like even like more standoutish. Like when I was first doing PNG, I constantly try to like find ways to like change the expressions to like be more than just like me like just doing like. Like obviously, I couldn't do like a lot, but it was still I tried. Oh, I missed like my film class. That's what helped me get in. Like that's what honestly that's what sparked my interest in cinematography like that, and like just like getting a closer eye on movies. Like just like seeing cinematography like work. I'm like, man, so much effort is put into this. And like me, I was just like a doofus kid, just trying my best to figure out how to make something look cinematic and struggling a bit. It was in high school though. It was nothing professional, but it was still like I tried and like I was like I was like both the director and the editor of each of those films. Sometimes I acted, but I was never like I never wanted to like be the main character because I knew all the other work I wanted to do because I wanted to do the funny sound effects. I wanted to do like the funny cutaways, and I just wanted to make sure everything like just looked how I wanted it to be set up. So I just did like smaller roles where it made sense, and then I just like I edited everything else at home. And like let me tell you, not to toot my own horn, but I think my videos, my films were the best of all the class. Lively. Like being able to just to be like creative with things. That's like I love it. I love it a lot. It's so much fun. Cinematography. Mm. And like, I mean, bro, one thing that I really like about like recap channels where like they share like information about like recent like popular movies and things like that is that they actually like do like the extra research on like the directors being like the reason why the director did this or the reason why this was shown on screen is because the director wanted to hint to the fact of this thing that's coming up very soon. And I'm like, these people, because like it's you never realize how like these tricks that the movies play that they put that make you like see something and then your brain kind of like automatically memorizes it, so when it pops up you're like, it's the thing that I saw earlier. Like they know tricks, man. They know tips and tricks to make people go crazy mode. Hey, that's amazing, man. Every time my teacher gave me a compliment for like the projects that I made, I'm like, yes, score, yes, give me that golden sticker. But yeah, like, it was so fun because like all the other ones, like my other classmates, I feel like many of them just took the class because they just wanted like a free elective, like an easy elective. It was like, I say easy because like mostly for those classes we primarily watched movies and then we wrote like a thesis or something about like the movie and like its themes. So like it was an easy class. We get to watch movies and then just write. And then like occasionally when the teacher says, "Hey, we're going to have a fun little film session where we're going to make a movie that's inspired by something that we're going to watch later on." Like those were like that's like the only moments where it got hard. So many people, they didn't really try it as hard, which is probably why my videos always turned out the best because I was a tryhard. I'm always a tryhard. I'm like, "Yes, I want to make it good, man. I want people to watch my short little silly film." You know, if I had to choose, like, with the career paths that I was interested in, skincare was the top for some reason. Then it was probably, like, doing something, like, involving being a director or, like, cinematography. And then teacher. Those were, like, the main things that were, like, the only thing that I was interested in for some reason. Because, like, I could either shape minds or I could be creative. And then for skin, I just don't know why. The largest organ we have, I just find it fascinating. It's crazy. I sound like a weird person whenever I talk about skin, though, because people will be like, "Man, you sound like a freak." And I'm like, "No, I just know skincare, okay?" Yeah. See, you get it. You get it. Like, if you're gonna make a product, you might as well, like, make it, like, entertaining. Because, like, if you're just gonna make it just to make it, you're like, what's the point? What's the point? Put your heart and soul, because if you put your, like, passion and heart and soul into it, people can see it. Even if it's not, like, fully, like, polished, people can still see, like, the effort that you put into it, and that's what matters. Because then people will be like, "Oh, yeah. Obviously, there's gonna be some people that are gonna be haters. But who cares? Because then the people that see the potential, they're like, 'Oh, you're going places, kid.'" But yeah, I'm obsessed with that type of stuff. Wait, what's up? I want to, honestly, one thing that I like about like movies, and I kind of want to watch movies, is that like when like they take like recent like creepypastas and like they're turning into horror movies. And like granted, some of them are awful. like the recent like Slenderman one, like people are saying, "What the fudge is this?" But then there's people like for like Marble Hornets, like the Everyman Hybrid, where like they just make like their own cinematic like universe, and where they're like, "Yeah, we're gonna turn this into something," and then someone just like takes all the clips and then just makes it into like a gigantic watchable movie, and I'm like, yes. So anytime someone like makes any short film where it's like connected to like a creepypasta, I'm like, yes, yes, yeah. I want to see more. I want to see more of those. I'm just obsessed. Ooh. That's amazing. Especially like editing. Honestly, editing video game clips. That's like a good way to get your foot into the door when learning the process of editing. Because like in my earlier days of like doing YouTube, I barely had that much editing techniques. And then once I started this channel, I tried making things look a semi-interesting here and there, but I used I used Windows Movie Maker for like the longest time. I then changed to Lightworks editor, and that's been helping me do a little more extra, but I could still push the limits to like make my editing more fun. Because like again, like you could add sound effects, you could add funny clips in between. I want to like do that more nowadays. Like what type of thing are you like hankering to do? Like specifically, like what's something that you're currently like you feel like you would like to do? Because like me, like with me, so like the reason why I've gotten like better with my editing skills is because ever since I transitioned to making analysis content, I had to be like I'm trying to like make everything look a little more interesting here and there. And like, but with editing games, if you're like to do more editing game content, then you could actually take it even like a step further by like, because you could incorporate like so much weird skits in between. Oh, the amazing digital circus. Honestly, I feel like if I always like telling people like if you like a media, like if you like an existing show, you could always make like your own version of that show, but like to, like your own style basically. Like the amount of times I've written a story that was heavily inspired by another existing work is like multiple times, but I always like to make it my own, where people can still see the inspiration, but it's still my story where they're like, man, this is crazy, but I like it. Yeah, imitation is the biggest form of flattery, of course. Yeah, see, you get it, you get it. Like I'm trying. Let me think of like there's an example. So like Aphmau, Aphmau was like a huge like the Aphmau was like what helped me started like making like comics and stuff like that. And like many of them, they were pretty much close to like being ripoffs of her story. But then as soon as I started writing more of my own like original works, but still taking inspiration from other works that I find interesting, it like helped a ton. Like for example, Danganronpa, I've created my own like story killing game. It was posted on Wattpad, but I think I accidentally deleted the account. I don't know. And the only aspect that people can tell that I took from Danganronpa is just like the whole killing game aspect where like, oh, you kill a person and then you're free, but everyone else has to die. That's the only thing that I took, and then just having a big cast of characters. But the thing that I made different with my story is that it was just like a group of kids having a party at this mansion. They accidentally opened a box which unlocked a demon, and then the demon's like, hey, I'm collecting souls because I'm facing a punishment where I have to collect like 1,000 souls. So I'm kind of bored, so I'm gonna make this interesting. So you guys kill each other, and whoever's the last one standing, you get out free, basically. And then like in between each night, just to like motivate people to start killing each other, they go through like these like games of like basically like Jigsaw, basically. That's basically what I took. So people would be like, wait, you made that story thanks to Danganronpa? I'm like, yeah. They're like, well, what? But you added so many other things. I'm like, yes, because I wanted to make it my own. I just like the killing game aspect of it. And honestly, that story was more dark. Like it's the way I'm describing it, it makes it sound like it's like the most horrifying horror thing because like these people like they're friends, they have to kill each other, they're going through death games. But in reality, I kind of made it a dark comedy, but like not like crude. It was more like just like the demon was lovable, oddly enough. Like somehow like the main characters ended up becoming friends with the demon, and like. And there was like just like so like all the characters were just like funny. They're trying to find like the light in the situation. Like when things got dark, it got dark. But like when they were just chilling before like each like encounter, they're like, we're friends. We're friends. We're trying to be friends. Yeah, like it's like also it's like people who are also like beginning to do art. Like sometimes like art always begins like one way. You either like yes, you can trace on top of other people's artwork, which I never recommend. But if you're a beginner artist and you just want to like figure out like the motions and the flow, just don't claim that whatever you're tracing is yours. Just like learn while doing it, and then once you feel like you have the strength to do it without like doing it on top of the lines, then you try to copy it off the lines and just like look back and forth, and then you could, it's like the same as like seeing artwork in like front, like so imagine there's like a bottle of, like a water bottle in front of you, then just take a pen and paper and then try to draw the bottle of water as best as you can. That's technically another form of copying. It's just like you just can't, you're just stuck. You can't put like the paper on top of it like you can with like a laptop screen. But yeah, like it's fine to do like a little bit of copying in the beginning. Just never claim that it's yours. And then once you gain more confidence with like all the things like with all the like the small techniques that you're looking at, then you could also like look up tips, look up like anatomy books if you want to draw a person, and then boom, you can progress from there. Like it's like people always like to like make it seem like such a bad thing to like trace. And yes, it's bad to trace if you're stealing, but if you're learning, it should be fine, in my opinion. It's fine to do that if you're learning, in my opinion. My humble opinion. Yeah. Luckily I had like some art teachers that were strict on tracing as well, and then others that were more lenient, but like they still like encouraged me to be like, hey, can you try doing that, but without like, you could still look at the reference, but don't like try to like copy it to like the extent. So then I'm like, okay. She's like, try to do it with your own style. And honestly, that's helped me a lot. like just like still like, you know, still being allowed to look at like references, but like, and like maybe like the occasional like moments. Like, I'm gonna be honest, I still trace hands. Specifically, like I take a picture of my own hand in real life, and then I trace my hand on top of that, because like drawing hands is still a pain in the booty cheeks. But thanks to me constantly tracing my own hand, I've gotten to the point where now I can sometimes draw a hand without the need of seeing or having like a reference there anymore. So like it's a grueling process, but it gets better, and I'm never claiming like be like if I ever take like a heavy like reference from someone and like you could tell that it's heavily referenced, I'm gonna credit the person. Absolutely, I'm gonna credit the person. They put hard work into that, and I'm like, hey, this is the art that I made, and this is the pose that helped me make it. I'm gonna like give credit to that. Like, dang, what the frick? And then when it comes to like writing literature, like people like, it's hard to be original nowadays. There's always going to be something that's very similar to another thing. But as long as like, you know, it's good to take inspiration, but it's also good to make it your own. Like people, like, obviously you can't expect to like read like a Stephen King book and then copy it word for word and expect people to be like, oh yeah, that's totally your original. No, you can make like a book similar to it where it has like a creepy clown, but like you incorporate your own stuff to it where it's like, blah, 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 and this and that. And then people will be like, okay, I see the inspiration, but I like the twists that you made to make it your own. So yeah, like, it's fine to be like, just treat it like a learning process, and then once you're ready to like jump into the deep end, jump into that deep end with confidence. But yeah, man, we've gone from talking about urban legends to talking about random stuff. I love that. I love it. That also actually wait, that also works. People should also incorporate that a lot when it comes to like posing. If you can't find the exact reference of a pose that you're looking for, you can just Frankenstein it. Like the number of times I've done that where like I just take like real life people and then I just be like, oh, this arm works, and then this hand works, and then this torso, and these legs, and then the head like tilting upwards. I basically just like make it like just like it's like getting a magazine and then you just cut it up into pieces and then you glue it together to like make a weird jigsaw puzzle that's not correct. Like, that works. So, yeah. Merging, taking inspiration, like, you know, it's perfectly fine, you know. Just be respectful, be careful, and, you know, always be ready to learn. And when you do get to the point where you don't have to, like, trace on top of a screen, like, you could also, like, just, like, start looking up tutorials. Because tutorials, people that do tutorials, they help a lot. I've learned a thing or two through tutorials. Especially with art, yeah. Yeah, like I feel like when it comes to monsters, like it's much more it's much more of lenient rules because like for example, ghosts, there's so many stories with ghosts. Zombies, there's so many stories with zombies. You know, like people can like make it their own or still keep it to similar rules because like monsters, like it's not just like designated to one thing. Like people could even take like the Wendy pause, blah 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 words, go story, and like still make that into like their own film, into their own stories. Like it works. Well, those are some interesting combos. Like, you know what's funny? Like, speaking of which, like, a long time ago, when I first started getting into, like, magical girl animes, I desperately wanted to, like, make my own, like, magical girl story. But, like, each attempt, like, sometimes it's, like, it's hard, because I'm like, man, like, there's so many where it's, like, it's hard to, like, be original, and I feel like that's what's holding many people back, is, like, wanting to be, like, fully original. Like, it's good to, like, you know, still, like, be, like, it's fine to like, you know, be in like that stump of a moment where you're like, man, you can't make this fully original, but you can still make it a good time because some people still like the simple classics of things, like, you know, like the classic Cinderella story. Some people be like, man, I love Cinderella, but like, man, some people like the modern versions, they're a little weird. But like, if we just like make it like so it's very classic to like like how it was in the past, people are like, oh yeah, it's still good. It's still good. It's still good to keep things like simple if you don't want to like make it overly complicated, because like if you overcomplicate a story, then it makes you lose motivation a little bit. That's what happened to me with most of my stories. Ah, yeah, that makes sense. Also, wait, also like another thing that people do, like I think this is also in Apothecary Diaries. I love Apothecary Diaries. It's one of my favorite animes nowadays. They're taking like elements from like in the past, like it's but it's not like actually like what people will suspect. They're like taking elements from like this culture, from that culture, and like just making it so it's like its own standalone, like its like own universe, own timeline, but still taking inspiration from like real life cultures. And so like it's good to like people will still like find ways to like make like still tell a story, and like and taking inspiration from other things, it's perfectly fine as long as you're being respectful about it, and it doesn't like make the story like trash or weird. I don't know how to describe it. Like imagine like you take like this one aspect, like this like beloved aspect of a culture, but then you make it terrible. Then people will be like, "What the frick is wrong with you?" You have to like still be respectful about the things that you're taking inspiration from. There's also like there's also like the weird thing when it comes to like making something. Like for example, in One Piece, like there's like signs like where like there's like censorships where like especially like with Ace, like he had like a back tattoo that had to be censored for the America because of and like many, actually not just America, many places because of like, but like what it means like in like because like the symbol means different things for different cultures, so people were like, yikes. So when you take inspiration from things, you also have to be mindful of like making sure that you're not stepping on any toes. It's a complicated process, but it's fine because like people always like they find ways, and it's good to like you could make adjustments. It's always fine to make adjustments because it's not gonna like change too much. Whenever I think about that, it's like it's especially like One Piece, and there was also one with like Demon Slayer where like his earrings, like it's crazy how like some things like can be viewed very differently from culture to culture. You have to be very mindful. There's even like certain words. Obviously, I'm not gonna say any words, but like yeah, like you have to be like, whew. Like it's good to take if you're gonna write a story and you're gonna write a story about like be like, oh, I'm gonna write about the culture of Mexico, and like but like you gotta like make sure that you're like not stepping on any toes if you like say one wrong thing, being like, oh, this thing, but it turns out it was actually like, oh, you did your research wrong. I feel like when writing stories, it's mostly cultures where you have to like be very like careful with writing, like which is why I always hesitate. Like with cultures and religions, you have to be like very cautious with. So like whenever I write a story, I always like doing that extra bit of research because I like to be mindful towards people. And like I usually rarely add those themes because again, I don't want to step in any toes. Like the last time I've done that was for like a book. Oh, sorry, was for a book I was writing about like this. Like it was gonna be like basically like be like doomsday, final, the death, and like I grew up I grew up Catholic Christian, blah, blah, blah. So I know a little bit more knowledge on that, so I was able to like know that I wasn't gonna step on any toes because I knew the do's and don'ts. And basically the story was about like this guy who's like a father in a church, and he's like raising like two kids, and then one turns out to and it's like a story of like nurture versus nature, and he basically stumbles across like this like demon that he's trying to raise to avoid doomsday because his daughter had like a prophecy where like the demon was gonna like cause like extinction to the world. So he decides that it'd be like, I'm gonna raise this kid, and basically it just like takes themes from that stuff, and I'm like, yep, that's the story I was writing. And ooh, there were moments where I was like, I don't let me make sure that it still makes sense. It's crazy. And whenever it comes to like stories where especially it takes place like in hell, or, like there's like so many like different like things be like, oh, the seven layers of hell, the seven deadly sins, or like there's like certain like Goetias and things like that. So like whenever like when I watch Hazbin Hotel or like Hell of a Boss, I'm like, man, there's so many research they have to do into like these specific aspects because they're taking multiple aspects from different like variations of like the afterlife punishment hell location. Is crazy. Yeah, since when it comes to censorships, that makes me like I can understand. I understand why it's important, but I also do feel like some creative things like do get like dropped in the wind. Like especially with like the most like with horror movies or like with like tragic movies. Like you want people to see like the rawness of reality. Because like reality things are like far more intense than they seem. But like the TV, they're like, no, just even seeing a drop of blood, you're gonna get a R rating. I'm joking. But like I feel like people they find sneaky ways around like like another thing that I hate about censorships. I'm glad that like now in present days they're becoming a little less like aggressive about it. Is like for example like in the past like relationships between like a man and a man or a woman and a woman, you can like it's hard to like make that into a story because they're constantly like either censoring it or just turning it into a joke. But like nowadays people are like, no, these are people with real feelings. Stop censoring them. So yeah, like censor, like sometimes it's good and then sometimes it's bad. Let people like know the truth of reality And then like another thing like with censorship, like strict parents, like I understand they're trying to like protect their children, but sometimes they're also like hiding like things that they should know about reality. Because like be like, oh, the world is just sunshine and rainbows. It's not. It's not sometimes. Yeah, as long like it's I feel like censorship like there should be like obviously there's like it's good to have like trigger warnings. Trigger warnings are very important and stuff like that. But like I feel like like people shouldn't be like harshly punished because they want to be like, yeah, I want to show this thing. As long as like they're not like too well. Actually, wait, there is like certain cases where like censorship you have to be like very careful. Like you be like, yeah, that makes sense. Like I'm not gonna like. There's like so many like random like topics where you're like, yeah, maybe those should stay censored. But like then there's like other things where you're like, oh, be like, oh, just here's a little bit of nudity. I'm like, oh, I understand why, but like it's the human body. It's the human body. If it's educational, they're like, no, it's too scandalous. I'm like, okay. Okay, but like if it's like a graphic sex scene, I'm like, okay, yeah, it makes sense to it makes sense to censor that. I do not want to see that at all. But yeah, like censorship is it's very weird because like I agree with censorship, but there is also like certain things where I'm like, why? Just why? Like I feel like the Slender Man movie, for example, it could have been such a good movie, but they censored. I think I personally believe that they censored a lot of like maybe like any graphic scenes because they still wanted to keep it PG, so like younger audiences could watch it. But I'm like, man, this is a horror thing. Why are you censoring yourself? Make it scary. Man, just like seeing and honestly, like I like seeing like the variations of Slender Man. There's so many like different versions of Slender Man, but like the specifically if it's just like the classic Slender Man, where like sometimes they make him like they really lean into the horror. Like they instead of just making him just like have a flat completely flat face, they make it like almost like his cheeks sink in, and like sometimes they even give him like a mouth or like where his like mouth does appear, it looks like almost like inky and like drippy, and I'm like, whoa, it's crazy. It's cool though. I'm trying to think of like an example where I thought like censorship was unneeded because like I know like there's definitely like a lot of like instances where censorship is required. But what is one where I thought it was stupid? Hmm. Can't think of anything. Like I feel like so censorship is always going to be important, but I feel like as long as like there's content warnings beforehand, I feel like that should at least like be like a good way to like because like people like, with YouTube it's hard to show like a lot. Like if I wanted to like make like a let's say like a very like woo horror, very horror, like there's like so many horror like I rarely ever lean into gore personally. I'm not that type of person, but there's people where they do want to make like a horror short film where like it maybe shows like the scary monster and the monster is like ripping someone apart, but like YouTube's like no, and I'm like, man, they could have like there's like so many people that want to do cool special effects, but we can't see that cool special effects. And like I feel like maybe like YouTube should implement a way where like maybe like there could be like a way to make short films like have like that content warning. Cause like they do they are starting to like implement like things being like here's a warning for like heavy themes, and be like, do you want to proceed on with this video? And then you just click yes. Basically, there's that, but I feel like they could do more. Like to make it so people can have like more liberties to do that stuff. Like obviously there's still gonna be some things like no one like yes, it's a human body, but still no one like fully wants to see a full out naked body, so it makes sense for that in that case. I haven't surprised. I kind of I know like vague details on like the origins of the Slenderman. Where first it started off with it was like a photography contest, wasn't it? Where like this guy or like a Photoshop contest where basically this person like submitted it, and then from there like the photos started spreading, and then people started attaching stories, and then it kind of just spiraled from there. And I was like, whoa! Sometimes a small thing can become huge. Oh yeah, that's the type of censorship. Yes, that's the type of censorship that I despise. Being like unalived. It's like, come on, people. Anytime I watch like a horror, like not every time I watch a true crime documentary, like specifically people that are trying to keep in like the guidelines, they always be like they were unalived by this blah 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 words grape, and I'm like, what? I'm like, because like it takes away like the true like like the message, like just saying like these like censored words, it makes it so it doesn't like feel as impactful because like these are true things happening in the real world, and we want to know like the real world is like, yes, it's like amazing, but the real world is also scary, and like having to censor our words just because people don't want to know the true horrors of life is kind of like, come on, come on. Yeah, unalived by the bad guy with a pew pew. Like that's like, it takes away from like how the seriousness of the conversation. People want to have serious conversations, but they can't because of censorship. It's crazy. It's crazy. Like me personally, I don't see myself like I doing like talking about true crime. I like talking about fictional stories, but even then, if like people that are like that do talk about real life events because it's important to share these stories and to make sure that criminals are being put behind bars, them having to censor themselves kind of like pulls away from like the seriousness of the situation, because like these are like, you're like, huh? Okay, there we go, we're back. It was off for like a hot second there, sorry. Oh yeah, and with like the Slender Man like stories as well, like so many people, they can like turn it like like they can make it really unsettling and really scary, like crazy mode. Okay, like nowadays Slender Man is just like boiled down to like just a creepy creature that just mysteriously takes kids away, and that's it. Like, we want more. We want more. The Geek Reaper? Hold up. Ah, I'm getting a content creator. What? Oh my, ancient like cave paintings or like just like, illustrations, bro. Wait, well, while I was doing research, I actually there was one about Bigfoot where like there were like a long time ago there was like there was like cave paintings of like these like large like creatures like in the, standing next to like a regular human. I'm like, huh, man, Bigfoot's lore is way in the past. But then there's like also like other things where it's like, oh yeah, it could also be connected to UFOs or like other like creepy crawly creatures in the world. Whenever you, it's always fun to like try to like figure out a way to like figure out what these cave paintings were supposed to mean, because like you stare at them being like, what are they trying to demonstrate? What are they trying to say? Gauntlet War, that's a crazy war to be in. Oh wait, I'm looking at it. Oh, my nose. I'm looking at these, and what the heck? Wait, they actually look cool. Is that Thanos' glove? Wait, Thanos glove with Ben 10's watch? Okay, that is wild. That's creative, actually. Whoa. And then there's the Yu-Gi-Oh thing. That's cute. It's funny. I like people that get that creative. It's so fun. I want to do more arts and craft related stuff, bro. I want to be able to do crazy. I want to do, honestly, if I were to do like a hand cam stream, I want to do like arts and crafts, or like maybe like making like some clay, like, or pottery or something. I want to do something like that. That would be fun. The what? Hold on, wait, let me look that up. I don't know if I don't think I spelled that correctly. No, I don't. A Gundam build stream? That'd be funny. Ah, okay. I feel like but yeah, I feel like just doing like something like that, well, would be funny. Or maybe honestly, if one thing that I like to do is like, you know, board games or card games. I want to make a card game, so I feel like it would be fun if I were to like just do. I would like to do, you know, fair, but I want to do like where I draw like artwork like random like monster characters to be like, oh, this monster's attack card does this, and this monster's a card does healing. I have like ideas for like funny little card games or even board games. Like I always wanted to like create an original board game because that seems like something I would be like really into. Because I loved board games while growing up, and I would like to do it, but alas, I have no idea what. Maybe a funny one I could probably do is be like, oh, here's a creepypasta card game. Be like the Slender Man can do like a swipe attack, attacking all of your player cards or something. Yeah, it's like something like it would be like something like it would be cool like that. I feel like I would just like make it like the ideas that I have. It would be like like cards where they have like 3 attack cards and then they have like a handful of support ones. And then they just basically like they have to like they can use one card like and they have there's like these chips that they use that like basically act as like energy where like anytime like they do a certain move it gives them energy or it takes away energy and it lets them like do an attack motion or it lets them heal or it lets them shield or something like that. It would be fun. Have a good day. But yeah, it would be fun. I like that idea. Actually, speaking of which, I should probably also I gotta okay, I'm gonna wait, let me show you before I go. So I'm still give me a second. I have to find it. Before I leave, I want to show the progress that I have on the Iron Mouse Booby Fusion. Because I've gotten some I finally figured out what I kind of want to do with the colors. Okay, hold up. Give me one secaroonie. Where the frick did I put the image? Okay, there. Oof, that's hard to see. It's because I'm on top of it. Let me just splat. Okay, there. You guys are gone for temporary, but it's fine. Nope, wrong thing. Let me make the image bigger, please. Words, where are you? I lost it. There it is. Nope, never mind. That's not it. Where? What the heck? Let me change the size. Okay. So this is basically the work in progress, I guess, for now. I'm still debating on like if I like the combo or not, but that's what it's looking like. So, and then the outfit is still up. I'm trying to figure that out, and I can't think of anything. But yeah, at some point it will be finished, hopefully. But yeah, I gotta now that we reached this, again, thank you so much for indulging me and talking about some of my favorite urban legends and just for like chatting casually. And now, you know, make sure to drink some water, eat some food, you know, take a shower or something. I don't know. I think I'm gonna take a shower because I'm like sweaty for some reason. It's really warm this morning, so I'm gonna do that. And then, yeah, till next time. When will I next post? I'm still okay. It's gonna because this is the final day of the fun week. It's gonna be a hot minute till I post again. But the next post, if I'm lucky, hopefully I might be able to finish the big video project that I'm working on, the one that I said has like multiple days, all spanning like 12 hours long, 4 perspectives. I'm gonna try to like rush that as much as possible so I can turn as quickly as I can. And I'm like close to halfway. I'm close to halfway, but if I feel like it's taking too long, then maybe I'll do something like this again, where I do another week of fun, where I just like have fun chatting again, doing some live streams, and then just like video throughout the week. Yeah. So yeah. But again, thank you so much for like just stopping by. It always makes me happy seeing people chat in the chat. It makes me because I like talking and talking to people so much. But yeah, till next time, take care of yourselves. I better not catch you dying on me. And until next time, goodbye.